Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday, March 19th, 2024. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast, episode 832, powered by NZXT. I am your host this week, Jan Ochoa, hiding my shame under this bright orange beanie because, I got a haircut. I got a haircut to prepare for PAX East this week. And joining me, my haircut brethren, Jeff Grubb.
I'm still on the cusp of deciding one way or the other about the haircut. Could still do the airport haircut. I don't think I'm going to get in there before that point, though. So it'll either be airport haircut or nothing. That's where I'm at.
That is your life motto. That is on the Grubb family crest,
right.
actually.
Yes, it'll be on my gravestone.
Speaking about gravestones, we got him killing records left and right. Expert speedrunner here, putting people in the fucking dirt. Mike Minotti.
You can't trust the sorcerer sometimes. Yeah, my haircut situation's easy. I'm just gonna have to get the thing and trim off this. It's funny. I do have this little tuft on my forehead that'll grow out, which is literally exactly the Charlie Brown thing if I let it go.
I've never even seen that. You do a good job taking care of that, Mike. I've never even noticed that.
Right, like the male pattern bonus went back, but there's like this little bit right here. It wants to hang on sometimes.
Charlie Brown Island up front.
Charlie Brown Island.
God.
Yep, I know.
And joining
Bailey's
us,
just says, "Oh my gosh, she's impressed."
Yeah, that's why I said that's amazing.
joining
Let
us
it grow
this week.
out.
She's incredibly excited and happy for her compatriots, her work companions, to leave for PAX East while she holds down the fort in sunny California. Bailey Meyers.
Yeah, I got a haircut a couple weeks ago. No one fucking commented.
I said something. I'm pretty sure I said something.
I didn't notice.
Well,
What is hair?
Mike, we know you hate women.
Hey, now why?
Yeah.
This can't be a thing. It can't be
This
a
was
recurring
established
joke.
last
God.
time.
Nope, we can't do that.
It's
On
becoming a real
International
problem.
Women's Day?
And that was last week.
Unbelievable.
We're fine now. We don't have to respect women again.
It's Women's
It's the
History
equinox.
Month.
You don't respect women on the equinox. What do you?
No, right. Unless they're witches.
Yeah.
Fantastic. How's everyone doing? Grubb, I saw that you saw Dune at 10 p.m.
You saw Dune? Talk
saw
about
Dune.
it.
It started at 11:10 p.m. actually, when all the commercials were done and everything. But I did not even begin to fall asleep. I was good because that movie's very good, very entertaining. I like how they use religion to manipulate people. That's fun. That's a good story. They should do that more often. I don't wonder why that only happens in movies. Huh.
Yeah, it's strange.
yeah, perhaps. But did you like it? Did it live up to the hype that people have been
Yes.
talking about?
I go back and forth internally. I don't bother other people with these thoughts because they're inside thoughts. So let's put it on a podcast. I'm not sure how much I care about lore all the time. And it's I care about lore when it's good, when it's actually super well thought out. And so Dune is that. It's very much that. It's where every sort of decision made by these characters has a reason why behind it that is born out of the reason that this culture is this way, and that permeating getting through all of the action sequences, all of the decisions characters are making was really, I don't know, it kept the story moving forward in a really fun way. And that's just awesome to look at because it's a Denny movie. Denny knows how to make them.
I really like Denis a lot, but I don't like Sicario at all. I don't know what it is.
Yeah,
I like everyone involved in
you,
that.
You're right. I did not. I'm I want to go back to it. I didn't dig Sicario either. So maybe I was missing something. I think it's a problem with me.
Denny just quietly shut off the podcast.
Yeah, sorry,
A
bud.
tear in his French Canadian eye.
Well, he saw that you were, one of his best friends, Bailey Myers, was on the pod, and
Yeah.
it was like, oh, these two fuckers are here also.
He heard that you guys say Denis, you say it like that because you don't know how to pronounce his last name, but I say Denis like that because we're best friends.
Yeah,
So,
Sure.
yeah.
I say that because it reminds me of the character from The Room. That's actually why I say that. So.
What kind of drugs do you take?
What kind of drugs do you take?
I just like to watch you guys walk. I just like to watch you guys. Whatever.
Just like
Denny's
to
weird.
watch.
I was showering and my one glass thing fell on the other glass thing. There's two glass things in that shower. So that was a whole
What do you
thing.
mean glass thing? A
What?
jar? A cup?
Like
Yeah.
sex toys?
No,
Why do you have
gosh.
glass in there?
Well, because like I have the one, and it's like where I put some like miscellaneous knickknacks, and it's on a high shelf. Then on the sink is like my
No,
drinking
not
glass.
good enough. Miscellaneous knickknacks is not good
None
enough.
of them are sexual, all right?
No, I know. That was a joke. What are you talking about?
I a razor and like extra blades and Q-tips. What do you think? Bathroom. What do you think?
Why glass?
Because that's what I had. I had a glass container, and I had a. Okay, in retrospect, it should not have been glass.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Have you
Okay,
That's
ever
what we're
been
trying to
a
get to.
public swimming pool and
that's
they're like,
my bad.
we actually don't want you to have glass by our water that we are in, and you didn't like apply that principle to your little own swimming pool that you have in your
No.
house, in your bathroom.
Your,
And it
your
makes-
feet swimming pool, yeah.
It made such a noise. It's just incredible. It was like a direct hit. What the one glass thing on the only other glass thing just shatter, picking up glass everywhere. Just a little bit got on my foot. I cleaned that.
Now, are you worried that because one of the famous things about glass is you could see through it, just
One
like
of the
water.
Famous things. Okay.
One of the
I
famous things
got
about
the
glass.
broom and like was like really going at it, making sure there isn't any
Okay.
like secret glass on the floor still. I'm gonna step
Right, that's
on
what
it.
I'm worried about. The secret glass.
Right.
Ooh.
So what happened exactly? Like one of your glass items decided to take a nosedive just on its own and hit
Well-
your other glass item and it shattered into a million pieces?
Yeah, they both shattered. So like the one on the top was probably pushed too far to the edge and also too
Relatable.
high up. And I was like sick and delirious yesterday, so I probably like I got my thermometer out of there, so that must be when like
That's
I pushed it
also
too-
in there.
yeah my
So-
mouth thermometer's in
Why is
there.
your thermometer in the shower?
Well, in case of the
it-
glass
it-
break,
this
because
is
he
in
wants to
the
get a little bit of
bathroom.
mercury poisoning, just
This
to
is a
mix things
bathroom
up.
shelf now. It's fine.
Just an old timey cartoon thermometer. Check
Yeah.
your temperature. Make sure you're not getting too heated every time you wash your tuft.
Yeah, I was very stupid when I first took my temperature. I wasn't feeling well. It was right after I showered. I was like, "Wow, look how high my body temperature." Then I thought wait a second, maybe the shower made it hot. So I googled it. It's like, yeah, that's a thing. So I had to wait a while.
Yeah, Minotti.
That
I'm figuring
reminds
it out.
me, like, you know, growing up, you'd see so many cartoons and movies of like people coming up with ways to fake their sickness and like,
Yes,
oh, I'm
like
gonna make my
Pete
hands
and Pete.
clammy, or like I'm gonna like find a way to heat up the thermometer when my parents take my temp
The
before.
lamp.
Exactly. And then one morning, I went to my mom faking sickness. This was maybe the first grade. I'm like, oh, Mom, I'm sick. Thinking she's gonna take my temperature. I prepared all this stuff. She was like, all right, just stay home.
Yep.
Aw,
Wait,
she
what?
trusted you and you betrayed her trust.
I know it's not. It wasn't the first
Preemptively.
grade either. Sorry,
Hope you feel
Mom.
bad.
I do.
Clearly, you still think about it.
Yeah, the Catholic guilt kicks in. That's the one,
There you go.
long-lasting thing from private school education, baby.
Mhm. Did you ever
Anyone-
forge your parents' signature on like a permission slip or anything like that?
I did.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
not a permission slip, but we used to have these things
But
called
checks.
conduct referrals, which were like
For if you like get in trouble?
if you get in trouble. But I only got in
Oh.
trouble because I let my friend cheat off of my homework.
Oh,
That's
one
the
of
most
those.
jam
You're-
reason to get in trouble.
Yep.
Oh,
Shut
Jan.
up.
Prom king shit right there.
I was a cool guy. I was tough.
Man, copying homework. Who cares? If you like copy test answers, maybe, but come on. Copying homework. You're only in trouble because he didn't how did they even know? Is it because he missed the same exact ones you did? Did
No.
They see you do
Was
it?
he
How were
actively
you
doing
caught?
it in class?
He was actively doing it in our
Did he
morning.
copy your name?
No. He actually almost did do that once. It was like morning prep period or whatever, and then like we were just sitting there, and he asked me for my homework. He's my best friend, so I just gave it to him. And then like the vice principal's rolling around saying like, "Oh, what's up, children? Hey, how's it going?" And then she sees him blatantly copying everything right plainly in front of her. I was
The
like,
vice
"You too."
principal
my office,
was
yeah.
there? Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Oh, that's what the vice principal's always
Vice pre-
the problem.
They're the cop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Yeah.
Vice Principal Boner and Doug.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Did so Jan's
Hot
got in
ref,
trouble in
hot
school.
ref.
Did you guys get in trouble in school ever?
I got in trouble one time because I was a freshman and it was Halloween. And as a freshman high school student, I was brave enough to wear a Star Trek costume for Halloween. And I was just, I don't know, I was talking to somebody about Halloween and was late to my last class and got detention. That was it. It's not a very exciting story.
Oh, that's what you mean by getting in trouble.
I was so pathetic that like as I got the detention, everybody in like the class was shocked and like tried to stop it. Like, what? You can't give detention to Mike. He's so quiet and shy all the time. It's like giving detention to a puppy.
The real American badass, Mike Minotti.
Mhm.
So one time I got in trouble in high school. Jeff, fucking brought a. Okay, I can't say that. He brought a fake gun.
Toy
to
gun.
school.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was. Well, I was at like one of those airsoft ones, but I forgot it was in there because of the ADHD, and then I got in a fight. Someone ripped my backpack, and it fell out, and they told on me. And then I got suspended for 90 days because it was not long after
90
tragedies. Yes. They called it. I think they
And
called
knew
it.
you were a gamer too.
Right, that's what it was really about. It was gamer oppression, for sure. No, I had like several Saturday schools in a row because of like being late to school. Like weeks and weeks and weeks of having Saturday school. So yeah, no, that's just like one of the times I got in trouble. I got in trouble
Wow.
a lot.
Bailey,
You were
do you have
such
any?
a bad kid.
Do you have any like
Yeah, bad
Instagram
person
tales?
actually.
I did a lot of bullshit in school, but I never got caught. What are you gonna do about it? You know?
Wow.
Okay.
What
I can
kind
brag
of
about
bullshit?
it.
Were you smoking in the girls' room?
There was a history class where the teacher would go around and check that we just had to take notes for each of the chapter of the book because the teacher didn't like to teach at all. And I quickly figured out I could just show him the same notes if I just like changed the data at the top. So I didn't do homework for an entire year.
Hell yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. And then like also one time got in trouble with a friend of mine because he was sitting in front of me in a different history class and we wanted to talk shit about someone who was sitting near us, but we didn't want her to find out because we didn't want to hurt her feelings. We were just mad at her. So we were like writing English phonetically in Hebrew because we both knew how to do that. And then we got in trouble for writing in symbols.
What is this
So-
gibberish?
Yeah. I
That's
was like,
metal
oh,
as
thank
fuck.
God. Thank God we took that precaution. We knew we were not smooth enough to pull this off forever.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Well, we'll go from playing innocent childhood games to adult video games.
Ooh.
Yay.
Controversial here. I want to
Yeah.
get new Seg music. I want to get new
Okay.
Seg music. Yeah. I am like almost dead set that I'm just gonna try and
You just
justify.
do it. Who could stop you?
Exactly. I put
Do
the
you think we
MP3s
can
in the
license
thing.
Houdini by Dua Lipa? Because that song rocks. I listen to it all the time.
Well, one thing I like about podcasts is it goes out on an RSS feed, which is like there's no laws there. So I listened to one podcast where like their YouTube version has like a custom song, but then on for the RSS version they just use Electric Avenue, like break on through Electric Avenue,
Amazing.
and I'm like, oh yeah, like there's no like detecting copyright on RSS feeds, so we should just do that, Jan.
Okay, that
Just
defeats
Houdini,
the
Dua
purpose.
Lipa. There we go.
God. I like Dua Lipa. I think all of her songs sound the same, but anytime they come on, I'm having a good time though.
Her songs don't all sound the same. They do make you have a good time. Houdini is special because it's one of those things where she's like the hottest woman who's ever lived, and even she can't say the word Houdini sexy. And I think it's funny every time.
That's true. That's true.
It makes me laugh and it makes me dance.
And that's all I ever look for. Just like the Sandland demo makes Jeff do. Makes you laugh,
Yeah.
makes you want to dance.
Real quick, you said adult video games, and I did on Steam last night see my cousin playing She Will Punish Them, and I'm like, what is that? And I look at it, I'm like, oh, that's just a horny game. That's just a lady going around spanking people, basically. All right, well, more power
Man.
to you.
Really on the nose. It's all 35% off. Okay.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, it's on sale right now for the spring
Oh my God,
Steam
this
sale.
is way hornier than I was even expecting. Also,
Oh,
like
have fun with that, everybody.
the logo atrocious.
what is it
There's
called?
like papyrus.
She will
involved.
punish them.
She will. Should I even be Googling this? Will
Well,
my
no, just look it up on
parents find out?
Steam. Well, listen, I'm not trying to get you in trouble, yo. Yeah, I think you play as what's that, like the devilish lady?
The succubus.
Oh my
Succubus.
God.
Yeah, I think you play as a succubus. I think it's like an action game. It's actually
Boy, they paid nothing for this font, huh?
no. In fact, I think they got paid to use it. Actually, yeah. Sandland. That's
right.
that's got a demo out now,
Oh, you
and
can customize her lipstick.
Yes, you can customize a lot, actually. And this is the one that's based on the Akira Toriyama manga, I believe. I think they're like going pretty hard on Sandland now. Of course, rest in peace to Akira Toriyama. This game is kind of strange but neat. I think the best part about it is all of the Akira Toriyama art and the whole world just feeling like you're living in one of his worlds. But you play as this like little sand demon guy. He's got some friends, and the demo shows you a section of the game where you're able to wander around this open part of the desert, and you have 3 different vehicles. One is a big tank with a lot of heavy weaponry. Another one is like a motorcycle, and a third one is a mech. And they seem to serve different functions of like getting you around faster, being like relatively survivable, or like for the mech, it's like if you're in close and there's a lot of people you got to fight, this thing can do pretty decent at that, but it's very slow if you're trying to actually traverse the desert. So you're supposed to swap between these things. The demo didn't show me a lot about like what you're going to be doing in this game. At least I'm assuming there's more to it, because what it is you go out in the world and you fight random encounters, and maybe you're finding a cave that might have some stuff in it. I get the idea that there's going to be some crafting. Didn't mess around with any of that in the demos so far. It was really just kind of going to these enclaves, fighting either like humanoid enemies or fighting giant desert creatures, or just like random dinosaurs running around or whatever, like an Akira Toriyama manga. But it at the very least, it looks really pretty. The action does work to the point where it's like I am enjoying myself when I'm doing that. I'm just like in this demo was confused about what should be pulling me through. Like, what is my motivation here? And that the lack of that kind of made it feel like I'm okay for now. I played this thing for 45 minutes and was like, I would need to know more about what this game actually is beyond this to care about it once the game actually comes out. So, but little disappointed by it, but also I'm hoping that, the final version has a lot more to it.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like the demo that I checked out at last year's Summer Game Fest.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of based on what you played there. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. And in that demo, I think the highlight for that was being in the vehicles, controlling stuff, because it did feel, at least in this early stage, and it's a demo, so things felt very slight in terms of like direction of like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna head to that village now on my map because that's what I'm being told to do. But the vehicle stuff and the vehicle design, really, really neat. I feel like Akira Toriyama has a knack for designing really cool, retro, futuristic, bubbly vehicles.
Yeah,
100%.
Lots of half domes on everything.
Half domes, like little vehicles too. So like the people are kind of like bursting out of them as they're riding in them. That happens here as well. It's all that stuff is definitely the highlight. I enjoyed that aspect of it. I think also getting to customize your vehicles and adding like different weaponry on there. They kind of showed that off early in the demo. Like, hey, we've given you some stuff. Change up the guns if you want. And that stuff changes up the cosmetic look of the vehicle as well. So you put a big gun on there, and now you have this huge barrel hanging off the tank that looks absurd, but in the best way possible. So that stuff is neat. I just don't know what else there is to it.
Yeah, I wonder if you can wind up just sticking with one of those vehicles, or they're going to kind of like force you into situations where you have to switch between a motorcycle, a mech, or like the tank.
Yeah, you could. I think you can have your favorite and use it most of the time. The motorcycle, so each thing has like a variety of weapons on it. So the motorcycle has machine guns that always fire forward, which is a little troublesome because the way the vehicle controls is you are pressing forward to go forward on the analog stick. You're not like holding down right trigger for gas or something like that. And then that makes it a little bit awkward to then like maneuver left and right. It's not the worst. You can also like toggle on gas and like have it just go forward by itself and then adjust it. That helps a little bit. But like maneuvering the motorcycle so that enemies are right in front of you, well, that's the fast vehicle. So once I have that, I shoot them a little bit and then I'm already flying past them. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get off the motorcycle, get back on the ground, throw out the capsule. It's like all the vehicles are in capsules. Akira Toriyama, again, that stuff I like. You throw down the capsule for the tank or the mech, hop in those, and then you're back in the action pretty quickly. I didn't find a way to like hot swap in battle where it was like, oh, okay, I'm in the motorcycle. Can I just quickly shift into the mech? It's like, no, you have to get off, throw down the capsule, then get in there, at least as far as I could tell, which is cumbersome as well. But I also think it makes it feel like you're living in the world and this is the way the world functions, and like you have to have these capsules and throw them down. I also like that if you hop out of a vehicle and you run away, you don't really have to come back to the vehicle. It's not going to be waiting for you there. It just zaps back into your capsules, and then when you come back to the world, you just throw them back down and hop back into them. I think it's like got a lot of good energy to it. It's got a good look.
Yeah.
And that's why I was curious about it. That's why I gave the demo a chance. And I think that this demo feels very cordoned off. It feels very much like we just want to get you into the action so you can see what that feels like. And so my assumption is there probably is more to it. They just didn't know how to present it in this demo, so they didn't do that. That's my hope, at least at this point.
Yeah, because I imagine like trying to do a vertical slice of something that may be an open world game is incredibly challenging. Also, man, really love the look of everything in Sandland. I hope the gameplay is enough to kind of like push me over to enjoying playing the game. I've also
I did watch like 15 episodes of Dragon Ball Z Kai over the weekend with the kids. So we're in an Akira Toriyama mood right now. And
did you see the new movie?
No, not yet, but I intend to.
Yeah,
Everyone seems to love it.
An absolute blast.
Which movie was it?
It's the Broly one.
I don't remember.
Is it the one with Gohan?
Right?
Superhero, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because
Gohan.
you know why that's a good movie? It's because it's Gohan and his father, Piccolo.
I get it. Yeah.
I've also been playing a demo, Jeff Grubb and company. I've been playing the Pepper Grinder demo. Let me tell y'all, I love hammers in games. Something I love more in games than big hammers? Big drills. Love a big drill. Here what you're doing is you're a little character and you got a drill and you can jump, hop, and bop around. Use one of the triggers to fire up the drill, get that going, and you can use that as a melee weapon of sorts. Hello, Penny. And the neat part about the game is, you'll see some destructible parts of the environment that are rocks, get some gems through there, but where the game starts to really fudge around with a platforming element is as soon as you take your drill to sand, it kind of suddenly starts to propel you forward in whatever direction you're pointing the drill. So you take the left analog stick and you're just controlling your movement around. But as soon as you pop out of the surface of the sand, you start freewheeling that bitch and you do like a dolphin or a killer whale pop out of it that gives you a little bit of momentum. And
I love that.
In the early stages here, a lot of it's teaching you the mechanics, but you can quickly see how complicated the game is going to get, because early on they have you dive down into the sand, make an arc, hit an enemy to get a little bit more momentum to hit another patch of sand right above you. And from there, do a quick pivot to get propel yourself to the right side of the stage to get to a higher ledge. It's really neat. And I'm really excited. I think this is one of my favorite genres of like 2D platformers, of just like weird movement abilities to like get you through something. And I'm going to tell you, like, hot take here. I think I'm tired of grappling hooks.
Oh, you're over it, huh?
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I felt brave. I felt brave telling y'all this. All right, this is
Was it Suicide Squad that finally did it to you?
No, I actually like the grappling hook in that game. It was pretty okay. It was like, what's Harley grappling onto? A little robot? All right. But I'm interested to see where the game is gonna go and how complicated it's gonna get, because I think after playing a little bit more of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, I think my favorite parts of that game are the challenging puzzle platforming segments rather than some of the combat. And I'm not saying the combat's bad or anything. It's great in that game. Some of the best. But like that team really, really nailed some of those like corned off, tight timing platforming segments that I think Pepper Grinder is going to be able to do really, really well as well. And yeah, just big drills, fucking rock. It's great.
Yeah, I have this demo. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet though. But I'm a huge fan of Drill Dozer. Drill Dozer was awesome on Game Boy Advance, and this is clearly inspired by that. And everyone who's played it seems to really like it. And you're right. I think just looking at it, you could tell they are going to take this motion, this locomotion mechanic, and just throw you in a bunch of different scenarios where if you are able to, you could string them together in such a way that you're basically never stopping doing cool momentum addition tricks until the end of a level. And I love that idea. Since like Tony Hawk, stringing together combos to feel cool has been like one of my main things I like in a game. This seems like it's going to nail that. So yeah, I'm excited about this.
This definitely feels like there will be several levels where if you can get the timing right, you will never touch the ground other than like the beginning and the ending segment.
Right,
of the
I
level.
love that.
And I'm curious to see how they're going to handle boss encounters, because so far all the enemies you come across are just like little dudes or like little robots that go off in one hit. Or one of the early enemies you come across are like these very thick ladybug-like bugs where you can only hit them on the underside of them because the top side is shielded. I don't know why I thought this was going to be a strict puzzle game. I think I was thinking more of Mr. Driller. And
Oh, sure.
Mr. Driller, that guy looks so sick.
Yeah, Mr. Driller's got a look.
Mr. Driller is supposed to be like the son or grandson of the character from the classic Namco arcade games that I'm definitely not blanking on right now. The one with the drill and
Soul Grinder. No, that's not a word. Soul Calibur.
Wait, Dig Dug?
Dig Dug. Yes, Dig Dug. Thank you. Dig Dug.
Yeah.
He's related to the Dig Dug guy.
Okay.
Was the
Dig
Dig
Dug
Dug
and Soul
guy?
Calibur are basically the same games.
Yeah.
You were really close.
Oh man, imagine how messed up that dude would be in Soul Calibur, huh?
Dig Dug guy or Mr. Driller?
Both of them.
Does Dig Dug guy have a name?
He must
Mr.
be.
Doug.
He must be Mr. Driller the first, I guess. Now.
Taizo Hori, originally known as Dig Dug. He should be Dig Dug, but spelled Doug.
He's known as Dig Dug. The Dig Dug lore, the family tree.
We got to chart it out. This is like third time in 2 weeks we've talked about family trees. We got to do something with family trees.
Taizo Hori, originally known as Dig Dug, is the main protagonist of the Dig Dug series and one of the major characters in the Mr. Driller series, being the founder of the Star Trigon team, as well as a member of the United Galaxy Space Force. Yeah, there's a family here. We got to look into
the
this.
United Galaxy Space Force. What are we talking about?
The UGSF. What do you mean?
Is he dig dugging in like space?
I think he's Dig Dugging in space, homie. Yeah.
Teach me how to dig dug. Oh,
is he involved in Gradius too? Like, what are we talking about?
I don't know.
Well, if we learn nothing from James Cameron, it's that it's easier to send drillers into space than spend spacers into drills. So,
that's
right.
Michael
Or
Bay,
whatever it
how
was
dare
we were
you?
saying.
Yeah, that's
speech. How dare you?
That's Michael Bay, the James
same
Cameron of
diff, same
directors.
Well, going from space and the ground to the sea, Bailey, you have been playing Dredge.
I have finally. I finally started playing Dredge. My Twitch community made me do it yesterday, and I was like, "Oh yeah, it's a fishing game. I like fishing." So there we go. Although there is a demo out right now from Steam Next Fest, normal fishing, that looks really good. That I'm like very excited for. That has sort of a spookiness to it that Dredge has to it that I wasn't expecting. Because I
just always Steam Next Fest now. It feels like Steam Next Fest is always on.
There's just like a lot of cool stuff came out, and I'm really looking forward to normal fishing from that one. But also, I've been playing Dredge, and I was so used to Dave the Diver and just being like, fishing is pleasant and chill. And now it isn't anymore. It's not. You're not gathering these things for your charming little sushi restaurant. You're just trying not to get eaten by an enormous anglerfish or whatever the fuck. Oh my God, it's so stressful. Alan Wake 2 prepared me for this, actually. It's very eldritch horror. And it's very British in it.
I didn't know that, actually.
Is that why Lucy liked it so much?
That's probably why.
Just captured the horrors
she felt
inside.
at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so fun. It's so fun. They're like, oh yeah, go out on the water, but don't stay out at night for reasons we won't tell you. And then you find out and you're like, oh no, understood. I need to upgrade my engines. Oh my God. It's great. I've only played a little of it so far because I've mostly just been playing Balatro and Skull and Bones. But I've been really liking it. It's been great. If you haven't picked up Dredge yet, like you should pick up Dredge. It's good.
Yeah, I did. I put it off, and then it got to the point where it's like, well, I'm not gonna have time for this for Game of the Year. And then you get past Game of the Year, it's like, well, I don't have to play old games anymore. It's time for new games. I think I should go back to Dredge though. I'm for it.
My January was just devoted to all the indie games that I like missed that I've been meaning to play. Like I finally got around to Slay the Princess and Chants of Sinar and like all these other ones that I really enjoyed. That of course I enjoyed because I love puzzle games and I love visual novels and I love weird shit like that. And like this is just another thing that's like a weird shit thing that I should have started ages ago and just didn't, because I think in January, at the end of December and early January, it just got completely consumed by Dave the Diver. I was just obsessed with that gameplay loop. And now I've got Balatro in that slot in my heart. So
I really want to play like a fishing game seriously again, and I'm all for fishing matchups. They just haven't really matched them up with something that speaks to me. And now hear me out on this.
Please.
Oh no.
Maybe we give Big the Cat like a standalone game. Because look, I know it was janky in Sonic Adventure 1, but 3D platformer meets fishing game. There's something there.
Oh yeah.
I still like in my heart want a fishing RPG like to come back in a big way.
Sure.
But listen, I'll take that kind of mashup too. Platform and Big the Cat deserves his own game. You're right.
So in that newest Mario Golf, I didn't quite enjoy it, but the parts I did enjoy is how the scramble. When you're playing multiplayer, like running into where your ball landed to continue going off.
Yeah, that's fun.
To the hole, the tee. I don't know golf.
To the lie.
To the lie? Sure. To the golf
where the ball
hole.
lies. Yeah.
And I could see that working well in a fishing game of sorts of like, all right, you catch a fish here, you got to dash all the way over to the other side of the dock.
Speed fishing? I like that.
Fishing.
Yeah.
Mario fishing. Let's do that. Get some cheaps.
That's actually a good. They should do that.
Shocking. We haven't really had
Yeah.
Doug,
that's
cut
weird.
the check.
Things.
Cut the check. Well, Bailey, let's stick to the 7 Cs here because I don't know if you want to talk about it at length at all. I don't think any of us have played this yet.
What I'm
You've
going to
been
be doing
playing.
for the rest of the day. So
Skull and Bones.
Oh wow!
Game of the week.
Nobody,
Yeah.
It's so funny because nobody even wants to talk about this game. It's
No.
not like with Suicide Squad where people wanted to dunk on it. Everybody's just kind of like, that's unfortunate. Let's not bring it up.
It's like
Yeah.
it's just a sick family member. Yeah.
it's just it's a game.
It's a quadruple A.
It's a quadruple, our first quadruple A title. Like,
We
how
did
could
it!
how could I not write an honest game trailer about it? But God, I always forget I've got to play the game first in order to do that. And I always set myself up for misery as a result. And I'm just trying to put one on the schedule for me. But ever since we moved to every other week, I've like got to prioritize the bad games. So I'm like, great, this is just my life now. It's just bad game after bad game. The last one I did was Suicide Squad.
That game's good though.
Do you want to try and play it? Because Steam denied my refund request, so I'm kind of locked in now. Bailey, what do you do in that game? I don't know what you do.
Nothing.
Oh, the first Nihilist game. All right, let's go.
You're just a pirate and you're just on the ocean. And there are so many other pirates. Or well,
That was a
fewer
haiku.
now.
What you just said right there was a haiku. It was beautiful. Yeah.
It's just sometimes you try to blow up a building. Sometimes the building blows you up first. You can have a lemur on your boat. That's cool. If your boat gets blown up, it's kind of existentially devastating because of the lemur, but then the lemur comes back.
Okay.
So you're fine.
Ooh.
But
So
it's like a
there's-
little bit on fire. And you're like,
There's
okay.
piracy. There's resurrecting lemurs. There's terrorism. Okay, this sounds like a good game. I don't know.
Yeah. There's like a quest you can do, like the pirate like guy, mercenary guy sends you off on little missions and you go and do them and then you come back like, do you like me yet? And he's like, are you Liller I can't even do it.
Liver lily leper?
Lily livered bastard was what I was trying to say, but this game has killed me. It's killed me hard.
Yeah. No, yeah, see, it's
Jen was
sucking
like-
the life
yeah.
out of you just talking about it.
Yeah, Jen was like, do you want to be on the Bombcast tomorrow? I was like, anything to avoid focusing on Skull and Bones for a couple of hours.
It's
Anything.
incredible that they had the right idea. Like people like Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, we should just do more of that. And like, yeah, you should make a spin-off open world pirate game. And then they're like, yeah, but it's gotta be a multiplayer, always online live service thing. And then
It's
that
so
cost
dumb.
them like 5 extra years of development because they couldn't figure it out. And
I mean,
then it just comes out in bombs. Like, what are we
like
doing?
The big problem was apparently that they were like, well, this is going to be primarily about sailing the ships, and there's not going to be like the running around Assassin's Creed part of it. And then they would, every time they talk about it, everyone would be like, oh, I can't wait to play this thing that's exactly like Black Flag. And Ubisoft would be like, oh boy. And so they went back and like, make it more like Assassin's Creed, make it more like Assassin's Creed. And that cost them also a bunch more years. So just real smart stuff over there.
No combat, just ship combat. You can get got by a shark pretty early in, which is so fair. You're in the shark's house. That's on you.
Right. You shouldn't be there.
You shouldn't be there. Yeah, the thing that's cool about pirates is that there were just so many of them, and they were all operating at exactly the same time and running into each other. That's what made pirates cool, not any other element of their lifestyle or persona.
Not their dependency on rum.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Grog. I mean, we literally already have an online live service pirate game that is good. Like, that's a pretty small market for how many of these we can support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really has to be so much better than this if you're going to pull this shit off. And it just isn't. It's
all right.
Yep.
I feel like I'm actively making Bailey more sad by
Can we talk about Balatro?
No, we're not going to talk about Balatro.
You guys played it without me, and now I can't even talk about it on your stupid little show.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to talk about a different casino game before we talk about Balatro, and that other casino game is a game that Jeff Grubb has inflicted on me.
Oh, my bad.
And I thought at this point, Jeff Grubb and I are friends. We work very well together. He would never try and hurt me. And then this fucker tweets me and says, "Hey, we gotta investigate this new thing." And it is called Bingle Bingle. And it is another casino roguelike game, but instead of poker or blackjack, perhaps, you are spinning that wheel.
Gee, and I didn't investigate.
No.
And I went to the Steam page, and it starts playing the video, and the sound of the ball going around the thing is immediately setting off like every dopamine receptor in my brain. I'm downloading this immediately.
It is out in early access. It is a similar format where, you have a chip value you're supposed to match, just like in Balatro or certain other roguelikes. And you are betting on a proper roulette wheel. And that's how it starts, right? You're like, okay, I'm going to bet on red. I'm going to bet on black. If I'm feeling a little spicy, maybe I'll pick a specific number. And then you can increase your bets. How they make it a roguelike is that you only have 5 tokens for a spin each time to meet your designated chip value. They also have boss encounters, but where it gets a little nasty and spicy and a little freaky deaky, y'all, is after each round, you get to visit a shop. And in that shop, you can either upgrade your ball. And maybe upgrading your ball is like, all right, well, I'm going to target a set of 5 of the pockets, and then my ball will always go in one of those 5 pockets. So you can clearly bet on red if you're aiming for that range or a specific number. But say, like, you know what, those pockets, the numbers, the slots you fall into, maybe I'm going to buy just like 5 red pieces and just stick them all together. So my whole roulette wheel is half red completely.
Oh, man.
Oh, I thought Mike Minotti was going to say something. He was just talking.
No.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just using that cough button so effectively that you thought I had something to say. Continue, Jane. You're killing it.
Thank you. So you can upgrade your balls, and then from there, with each ball, you can upgrade that to increase the chip value that it's earning. So say you have a ball that targets a certain range of pockets. You bet heavy on red, and then it's you've upgraded that ball in such a way that it gets like times 10 each time it successfully lands on a proper bet. So you are winning around in one spin. At first, I thought it felt pretty bare bones, but as you start getting through like the tutorial stages and like the early bits of it, you are unlocking more and more different things to affect your wheel and your spinning. And like Grubb said, that trailer hooks you in really well because it gets the clickety-clackety of the ball hitting the wheel.
That's
really
clickety
well.
clackety.
I mean, I'm looking at this thing and it really is just Balatro but roulette. And yep, That makes sense.
Yeah. There's also a Mahjong roguelike casino
Oh,
game
really?
making its
See,
rounds.
that sounds interesting to me. Not that I won't play Bingle Bingle. It looks incredible, but
Bingle
I am
Bingle's
very
just
interested in any game that has some aspect of skill to it. And roulette simply doesn't. So it's never been my game in casinos. Although the concept of upgrading your balls is very funny to me. So
Yeah, upgrade your balls. I've
Obviously.
highlighted that as the name for the podcast, by the way.
real slam
so.
dunk on that one.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Bailey, would you ever be interested in perhaps? Do you know how to play Mahjong?
I learned how to play it from the Mulan PC game that came out right around the time Mulan did, and I haven't played it since, but my mom is getting very good at it in her retirement community. So I imagine she
awesome.
can give me some tips.
Oh,
Okay, fantastic.
yeah. I tried to learn Mahjong inside Final Fantasy 14, and it did not take.
I was gonna say maybe it's time to resurrect an old giant bomb feature, one near and dear to my heart, called Mahjong Mornings, where we learn how to play Mahjong every
I'm
morning.
gonna learn to play Mahjong. That sounds great. I guarantee you that the one in the PC game that I played when I was 8 years old was not authentic. So let's go.
There is a gotcha style Mahjong with hot anime people of every variety.
Oh,
And-
man.
They have fun animals in it. This is God. So a bad outcome in Mahjong, if I recall correctly, is called Ron, RON.
Yeah. You never want to meet Ron.
Exactly. And then Ben Pack, I miss you so much. We wanted to call it "This is the Ron" on our successful Mahjong
God.
Mahjong conquest. Half of that feature was us just looking at the Olive Garden menu for a while, though. So I don't know if we should do that. Well, we should still do that.
I could look at the
breadsticks
Olive Garden
too.
menu forever. They got breadsticks. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Bailey. I see you playing this on Twitch virtually every single day.
I played
also-
Dread yesterday. I want it on the record.
Okay. Well, we also played
Then I
this
played
last.
Balatro after.
We played this last week on UPF without Bailey. Balatro.
When you say we, make sure not Bailey.
Yes.
Yeah. I was busy talking to my new best friend, so I couldn't join anyway. It's fine. It's cool. Minotti stole one of my jokes, and I found out immediately because everyone came to my stream to tattle to me about it.
I immediately attributed it to you. I immediately fessed
They were
up.
like, to be fair, he gave credit. I'm like, I'm sure he fucking did.
So it still got its hooks in you, Bailey?
Yeah, I just did the golds. I finished the gold stake on the
Nice.
on the black and red checker deck. Yeah, now I'm trying to get through the challenge runs.
Damn,
And I'm trying to just unlock every joker.
Yeah, I think I've decided to start doing that too. I after that UPF, I was like, oh yeah, like I thought I was playing this a lot, and then seeing like how much more Mike and Dan had unlocked, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep playing. And then I probably got like 6 wins over the weekend when I was playing, and that was like triple the number of wins I had before that. So I got through basically all the basic decks because at a certain point it's like no, you need to do harder difficulties, harder stakes to unlock some of these decks. So I've gotten a win with all of the decks before that point, and now I just started moving up to the next stakes. So whatever's after white, I can't remember what it is, but I think I got pretty close to a win there, but I don't think I have a win on any of those more difficult stakes yet. But it's wild to see, like, at a certain point I'm like, a lot of this is like luck, and I'm like, no, I just wasn't optimizing my choices, and now it's like every run is pretty close or a win. So that's been nice to see. Like, oh, there's a huge change in how I'm playing.
Yeah, it's so good once you, because I actually had like kind of a hard time connecting with it at first because I was still trying to play it like it was poker, and once my brain sort of understood that it's more roguelike than it is poker, I immediately took off on it. And I found that once you defeat the orange stake, you unlock the erratic deck, which makes it a lot easier to do like specific like unlocking joker runs, because you'll start a deck that has just like 9 queens in it to begin with, and it's just randomized every time, and it's so cool. The plasma deck is killer. You have to do math on that one, which is crazy, but it looks so sick.
How does plasma deck work?
Plasma deck takes an average of your chips and your multiplier, and it averages them every time.
I just unlocked that one, so
It's
I didn't
so
really
cool.
understand what that meant, and now I'm scared.
It's a little bit math, but like, you know how when one of your hands is bigger than the blind that you're going for, it does like the fire thing. Have you guys ever experienced that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
On the, I don't know with you guys, on the plasma deck.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah. On the plasma deck, the fire is like white and purpley, like plasma-y color. Like it's very themed. It's so cool.
Yeah, I've definitely still been enjoying Balatro a good amount. I am like beginning to see the end of the tunnel for me. Like I just unlocked that plasma deck. Once I at least beat one of the decks, which will of course be the checker deck with like all the like different colored stakes.
Yeah, that's
and then,
what
like,
I did.
Right, and yeah, it's kind of the it's definitely like the best deck for all of that bullshit because you know you can at least probably make a flesh build. But once I like get everything on that and I unlock all the other decks and get one win with every deck, I'll probably be good at that point. But we'll see.
I'm just scared for when this comes out on mobile.
I was just gonna say, like, I just got that email with the confirmation from the developer that was happening. I was like, well, there goes my entire life. All right, great. Right now, the only thing saving me is that it lives in my PlayStation.
You just have to develop an aversion to like all mobile gaming like I do, and you'll be fine.
I simply can't do that. I still play Slay the Spire every single day before I go to bed.
I thought that was on sale. I never actually played Slay the Spire.
You like Slay the Spire,
I
Mike?
would.
Me neither. I want to
It's
play it.
really
so bad.
good. It's really good.
Bailey, did you ever check out I think it's called Monster Train? It's like
People keep recommending it to me, and I want to, but I am so afraid of another rogue like card like game. I only have so much room in my life, you know. I've already got 2 addictions I'm juggling. It's hard.
I think I wound up fondly remembering Monster Train more than Slay the Spire because
Yeah, I was going to ask, should I play one or the other? Because I've heard good things about both.
I'd probably suggest for you grab Slay the Spire just because it's more straightforward, and then like Monster Train, you eventually wind up having to juggle like 3 different lanes.
Oh, you know I can't handle lanes.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Or tiers of your train. So like a bottom level, mid level, top level. Just like Mike Minotti is juggling these fools, juggling records left and right. Oh, I'm number 9. Oh, I'm number 7. Now I'm number 6 on the charts.
Look at
Mike,
him go.
I do want to hear more about your continued time in Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero.
It's fun now because it is actually feeling like speed running, right? Like at first, just to get on the board, I just had to beat the game in one sitting and like try to do that better. But then slowly, you know, like I'm watching all these other speed runs. The number 1 record holder, Sagat's been helping a lot. Like he has to verify my runs, and on YouTube, he actually like leaves these comments with like detailed notes and tips for me, which is very nice of him.
Oh,
So
that's
thank you
incredible.
so much, Sagat. Right. So like my last run that I submitted, I felt really good to me. That was number 6 in the world, and with some optimization and just pulling some stuff off better and a bit more confidence. There's still some levels where I'm like, wait, what's next? Or things that you're not necessarily immediately thinking of, like menu time, right? Like, oh, I'm too slow in menus. I don't know exactly where the key is. I have to be able to understand how the game works and know what slot that key's going to be in before I even go in there so I can access it immediately. But you know, there is something about this game is so much bullshit, right? It's so satisfying to out bullshit the bullshit, right? Like, look at me, I'm the captain now, kind of stuff.
You're the Sub-Zero now. Yes.
Yeah, I'm the Sub-Zero. I'm the sorcerer now.
Mike, was it at all cathartic to see Dan just firing up the second? Is that the first level, second level?
It's the
No,
first
that's
level.
level 1.
Oh my god.
That's
Yeah.
level 1.
Was it cathartic to see him get squished and then immediately just turn off the game?
Well, I felt a little bad because he's been actually hanging out on my streams. I've been doing this a lot. He's been very supportive, and it's fun having him there. And I think he, like, you know, he liked when we competed in Astro in Neon White. He's like, oh, maybe I'll compete with Bitch in this. But like the only reason I'm able to do this, and the reason why so many people don't do that, is that to be able to speedrun the game, you have to just play the game first, and that's the ridiculously hard part. That was me struggling on Blight Club, just getting a base idea of how this game controls or works. Just so much of the memorization.
8 hours on the second level, right? Like 6 to 8 hours, right?
Yeah, something like that. And it's great that I can beat that level in 5 minutes now.
Oh.
It feels good. But man, at that time, Dan like got in there, and at first he's like, "Well, this just plays like a Mortal Kombat game," and then just immediately got smashed to death like 10 times in a row, and like almost had a panic attack and had to turn the game off.
Poor Dan.
It's a good video game.
It's
Sounds
something.
good.
He did check out the Waterworld game for Super Nintendo that never came out in the US because he's thinking about speedrunning that. I'm trying to encourage him because one, game doesn't look that bad. Two, incredible soundtrack. Three, it's a Waterworld video game. And four,
One of many.
I told him if he gets on the board on that game, I'll get on the board on that game. There's one recorded speedrun for it right now.
Oh, really?
There we
Oh,
go.
man.
All
Okay.
We could all be there. We could
That
just
could be
dominate
fun.
it with Giant Bomb.
Yeah, that'd
We
be
should
fun.
do that, actually. We should squat on like a record somewhere of like,
Yeah.
why is it all these fuckos here? All right. Last segment of the first segment of the show. I'm curious about going around the horn here. We're like halfway through March, a little bit more than halfway through March. And we've had a flood of very, very good to amazing games. And I wanted to go around the horn and get everyone's top 3 of the year so far. Not in any order if you don't want to order it. But if you do, like Mike Minotti does, you can order it. I'll go first. My top 3 is, in no order, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That game fucking fucks. I love finding the chocobo stops because I love petting their little heads. I need a plush of that. Balatro. And Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. Mike Minotti, please.
Yeah, I think mine in order. Number 3, Balatro. Just definitely one of the more fun roguelikes I've ever played. I love the whole poker thing. Number 2, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. One of the best Metroidvanias ever. Incredible combat, incredible platforming. But number 1, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Just one of the most fun, big JRPG experiences that we have ever seen.
Jeff Grubb.
Yeah, it's a kind of a mixture between you two. It would probably be number 3, Balatro. Number 2, God, that's tough. Probably number 2 would be Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and number 1 would be Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Good
Oh,
pull.
Bailey Meyers.
Balatro is my number 1. I'm just saying that right now. Just getting it out of the way.
Sure.
And then games I played this year that were good. I've played so many bad games. I'm trying to think of the good ones. I have started Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and I'm really enjoying it. So I'm just going to throw that on the list just by process elimination. There are so few games I played that are worthy of the top 3. And then this one's for me, The Sheer and the Wanderer, the Mystery Dungeon of Silver Quill Island.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Oh, right. I saw you getting super hyped about this.
I love Sheer and the Wanderer. Sheeran and I go way back. Played it on my PSP, whole thing.
Yeah.
Now
I've
it's
always, I've always like been curious about Sheer and the Wanderer. What makes it so good?
Good.
Why do you like it so much?
It's got I think it's just got a really addicting gameplay loop. But the fact is, it's got like some classic roguelike mechanics mixed in with just a really interesting world that they've developed, really cute graphics. There's something about it. It's got a certain je ne sais quoi. I don't know. It's just a very successful roguelike to me.
Mhm.
And anything like that, it's going to be hard to like say out loud and really explain like, oh yeah, this really hits that like monkey brain that lives in me that like needs the numbers to go up and the everything. But it hits the same part of my brain that Balatro does, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
Like it's very
encouraging.
good.
Okay,
Bailey,
I'm gonna check it out.
I'd be really curious for you to check out, and I think you might enjoy it. It can get spooky or a little bit creepy sometimes, but I think you might like Pacific Drive.
Pacific Drive?
Yeah.
Okay.
Game set in like the PNW, you kind of get quartered off in a specific zone, and you're just fixing your car. It's very process heavy.
Yep.
Okay,
Very
I've done a
clunky.
lot
It's
of
roguelike.
driving in the PNW, and it was spooky in real life too. So I can't wait to.
There you go.
Man, I felt bad I don't even have Tekken 8 or Helldivers 2
I know.
on my list. It's insane.
Exactly.
Very
That's
good
why I
games.
was going to ask honorable mentions for me. It would be
Oh, there they
Helldivers
are.
2, Tekken
Yeah,
8.
Helldivers has to be on the list.
The 1.0 release of not Temple Run. That's the Phantom Abyss. Phantom Abyss is got released in 1.0 in January, and it's like I love that game in early access, and I played a little bit since it went 1.0, but it's like, man, even that isn't getting into the top 5 already for the year, and I love that game. So it's just going to be an incredible year.
I think it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yep.
I was thinking like, oh, we're finally in a quiet period, but Dragon's Dogma 2 is coming out later this week.
Yeah. I do think it is actually gonna get kind of quiet after that for a bit, though. Like,
It could,
knock
right.
on wood. but man, it has to eventually.
Yeah.
Did anyone put any time into Alone in the Dark, which I think reviews just came out this morning?
No.
They're mostly pretty bad. I had a code and I haven't touched it, so I'm gonna play it and I'll try to talk about it for next week. Everybody, see if I have some opinion on it.
Yeah.
It was just on the GameSpot release schedule, and I'm like remembering games like Inkluminati. I wanted to check that out. Although they spell it Inkulinati here, they really butchered that name. Pocket Card Jockey, I got that. I haven't touched that. Penny's Big Breakaway, I'm like 3 worlds into that. I want to keep playing it. So I mean, there's been a ton of stuff, and yeah, I think you're probably right, Mike, about the rest of the year. But even still, there's a ton I want to catch up on.
Yeah, Helldivers is probably on the top of that list to catch up on.
Yeah,
mostly
we just make more time just to play it here.
Like I haven't had a bad experience like playing with randos, but I think I would have more fun playing with friends.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Ooh, real quick before we go to break, I did check out the 5v5 mode in the finals. Let me tell y'all, it is. I went from really liking that game last year, 3v3v3, adding two more people to that squad. No one does their fucking tasks anymore. No one fucking does their job because they think someone else will do it instead. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Just protect me. Anyway, that's it. I think we should jump into the finals. I don't know if they have released the private lobbies yet, because if that is the case, we should do that on a Thursday and throw it down.
I think they did. Someone mentioned to me that was happening in an update. So yeah, we should make that happen. That'd be great.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I just see in the chat Elden Ring DLC's coming out. What the fuck?
Oh, yep. Right.
We really should do the Elden Ring multiplayer with all the mods, so it's like seamless and stuff leading into that. So I think that would be a great thing to do on the site.
Yeah, and I still want to check out KOTOR eventually, because
I bet we'll be able to slot that in the summer somewhere.
Yeah, maybe y'all should take a break from the blights and have a delight instead.
There you go, Delight.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Delight Club, because I'm not subjecting myself to a bad game.
That's fine.
It sounds like Bailey has to subject herself to bad games. So
that's her job.
It's my job.
Folks, we're just going to descend into the abyss and think about Skull and Bones some more, and then we'll come back and talk about the news. I actually have breaking news, Jeff Grubb. Breaking news I forgot to talk about in the top segment. Here's like the news beep, 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 beeps. New merch in the store.
Whoa.
Folks at home, go to store.giantbomb.com. You can get a signed Game of the Year live poster if you missed the in-person event. You can see that right there. Lovely poster designed by Jerem. Lovely time. Had lovely flashbacks of, wow, what a whirlwind of, how long were we in LA for? A week?
Yeah.
Like a year.
Memories made. Korean barbecue eaten.
Yes.
Great time. As well as
we signed all those posters, and then they kicked us out of the restaurant because we weren't supposed to be in there. That was a good time. That was
they
my
weren't
favorite
happy.
part. Yeah.
I'm not convinced that Dan actually asked someone. I think he just walked out of the room and then walked back.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I believed him.
As well as the signed poster, we also have 2 new mugs in the store. One with the Dizzy eyeball new Giant Bomb logo there on a lovely mug, as well as another new Giant Bomb at Night mug. And then on top of that, prepare for the holidays early, lovelies, because we have a dumper bomb ornament. This was supposed to come out last year during the holidays, but we're like, screw it, just put it out now.
That's right.
Is the voicemail dump truck bomb delivering hot dumps to your local area codes. Go check that out. store.giantbomb.com.
Don't forget your joggers. Joggers with every order. You have to
joggers
order.
with every order. You got to order them. They're flying off the shelves.
They're so cozy. I'm literally wearing mine right now.
They're really great, aren't they? Yeah.
I still haven't gotten my own store code to work. So
No.
I'm sitting here like a brokey in jeans.
I do store stuff now, Jan. I'll see if I can get you a code. I'll talk to the people and make it happen.
Fantastic. Shouts out to Margaret.
Yep.
Oh, I hear news coming.
Oh. Jeff Grubb News.
All aboard the news train, everybody. Yeah, I got a bunch of headlines here for you. Let's start with PS5 Pro is probably coming this year, and we have some leaked specs. Basically, this started Insider Gaming, got a rundown of the leaked specs for the PS5 Pro, and then a bunch of people are like, yeah, this is on the PlayStation DevNet, like for developers to go look at. It's just sitting there, which is strange because I guess today Tom Henderson from Insider Gaming was like, they're investigating who leaked this. I'm like, Sony, it was you. You did this.
We're all trying to find the guy who did this.
They're all trying to find the Jim Ryan that did this. The big thing here is the CPU is going to be the same. The GPU is getting a pretty big increase. If you just look at the teraflops numbers, it's like, oh, it's 3 times as powerful. That's not really how it works. It's going to be about 45% more powerful. So, you're going to be able to get more frames per second in all these games that already work on PlayStation 5, if they get an update to take advantage of the Pro, which most of them probably will. The kind of marquee feature here for the PS5 Pro is AI upscaling. Similar to how NVIDIA has DLSS, Sony's going to have something called, I think it's PSSR, PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution. Basically, it's just going to recreate the image so you can run it at a low resolution, but it looks like a higher resolution, something we're pretty used to these days. That's the big change here, so that Sony can get even more performance out of this PS5 Pro. I'm still wondering how they're going to market this thing. How are they going to communicate these features and get people excited about it? The thing with the PS4 Pro, it was very easy. A lot of people were buying 4K TVs. A lot more people had 4K TVs in like 2016 than had them in 2013. So when Sony's like, this PS4 here will take advantage of that 4K TV you bought for the Super Bowl or whatever, that was easy marketing, easy thing to get out there and get people like moving to buy these things. They won't have that this time unless, I don't know, do you guys care about AI super resolution?
I mean, it might be a hard thing to sell. You put that in the box. I think it helps that the Pro is already a thing now, right? Mm-hmm. People will just remember the PlayStation 4 Pro. So you say a PlayStation 5 Pro, people just get like, oh, this is the mid-gen refresh generally. I mean, the thing that'll get me on board with it, and it's the reason why I'm interested in a mid-gen refresh. When going into this generation, I thought I wouldn't be. I thought we wouldn't need one. But we we are at a point like Dragon's Dogma 2, it's coming out, and on PlayStation 5, it's just going to be 30 frames per second with no performance mode option, right? And I don't know how you put this on the box, but like your games will probably always have a 60 FPS option now. Like that's what I need. I need to be able to play a console game at 60 FPS in some way or another, and it's the reason why I might get suckered into this.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon's Dogma 2 might be an outlier. I mean, I guess we'll talk about it more when we're allowed to talk about it. But yeah, you're right. Like we're at a point where developers are going back to their old ways of, hey, we're going to take advantage of visual fidelity. So if we want to keep 60 frames per second, you're going to have to buy new hardware. And they know that there's a lot of us out there that really care about that high frame rate. And so they'll be able to lean into that a bit. It will also have improved ray tracing. That was something that was a marquee feature for GPUs on PC quite some time ago. It became something that they mentioned for PS5 and Xbox Series X and even S. And none of those systems really run ray tracing all that well. That stuff is very damaging to performance, and so it's kind of rarely ever used. And when it is, it's like just for shadows or something like that, or maybe the occasional reflection. I suppose this means when we do get ray tracing in games, it'll run better. I don't think improved ray tracing in PS5 Pro, though, means we get a lot more console games with like full ray tracing options, because they're still going to have to support the PS5 out of the gate. So there'll be a handful of games maybe that do take advantage of it, but I'm not expecting this to be some huge change to the way games are made or how they actually use this technology. And again, do you guys care about ray tracing? This is something you've had a chance to decide whether or not you care about it. I mean, at this point, do you even notice it?
Other than that Minecraft demo, no.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
God, the Minecraft thing was actually still maybe the most impressive thing.
Like I turned it on Miles Morales once. I was like, that's neat. Said that, but like, you know, and I stop and I'm literally on a building and I'm like really paying attention to reflection. Sure, but not like really swinging around and actually playing the game. You know,
Right.
It doesn't really matter.
There was a Portal one, right? As well. That was neat.
There's a Portal ray tracing mod. Yeah, see, I'm sure at some point, like, this stuff will become way more standard. That's going to be great, but at the price it comes right now, you know, like Insomniac does do things like they're the one people who are able to have a 60 FPS ray tracing mode somehow, and in that case, yeah, I'll turn it on, and that's pretty neat. But it just seems like we're pretty far away from that kind of thing being standard.
Yep, it's you know, we're not getting like a solid 60 frames per second at 4K with ray tracing on anytime soon, even with the most powerful GPUs on PC. So when they have to make games with both rasterized lighting and ray traced lighting, well, they're going to keep doing both, and so the rasterized lighting is going to look amazing, because a lot of great artists have gotten very good at that over years and years and years. And at the same time, it's just you know, you once you see that frame rate drop when you go to the ray tracing, you're just going to be like, it's not that much improved. For developers, ray tracing is great because they can just flip a switch and see what the lighting does and move things in real time and just set up the scene, and it just works. And that's really beneficial, but they still also have to make the rasterized scenes at the same time. So ray tracing is going to take a long time to sort of get through this transition period. And then, you know, other things here, like there's going to be more memory bandwidth, more memory, and that's going to be beneficial to a lot of games, things like that. But at the end of the day, this is going to be a PS5 Pro. It is the mid-gen refresh, something that we're used to at this point, something I think a lot of people will upgrade to. I don't think it'll be the standard for a lot of people, because I expect this probably to be more expensive than the current PS5 at $500. It's probably going to be $600 is what I would guess right now.
$599 US dollars.
$599 US dollars. You're going to get a second job for this one.
That's 600 foot-long churros from Subway. I'll pass. I can buy 600 churros with that money.
And I have. So Bailey says she's going to pass. How about you fellas?
If they release a new Ridge Racer with it, I will definitely get it. Jeff, do you think that's happening?
I think listen, if there was a time to come out with a new Ridge Racer to like launch with a new PlayStation device, it's now. Mike, now is the time. How about you, Jen?
I've been thinking lately, it'd be nice to not have to move my PS5 from the office here to the living room back and forth whenever I want to play a game.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's $600 worth of that inconvenience, you know?
Yep.
And that's such a specific circumstance,
Yeah.
Because like how many people are gonna need like an office PS5 versus a living room PS5?
Yeah, just me here on my ivory pedestal, you know? It's just like...
Well, I mean, if you were like trading in your PS5, you get a PS5 Pro for probably a pretty decent price. You probably get it down to like $250, maybe $300 at the most.
300 churros, Jeff Grubb.
You're right. When you put it in those terms, that's horrifying. I can't imagine trading $300. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. I think the thing will do fine. The thing I'm most worried about though is that the new Astrobot game that I hear is coming out this year is for this thing. I'm starting to like worry that's why that's lined up for this year, because Astro games always come out with new hardware, like they're tech showcases. I don't know. Please tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me they're making a real Astro game.
You're completely right, Grubb.
They have to. They got to be doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the something could be just a tech demo, just like all the other Astro games that go along with this, and it's for the PS5 Pro, and I want it to be a full, real $60 game.
What kind of how much tech is there to show off? Like, yeah, look,
I know
the game runs better. It has to just be a full game now.
Okay, I want to believe
they didn't do one for PSVR 2, so
right.
Maybe you're fine, Grubb. Maybe you're fine.
Yeah, well, we saw how much they cared about PSVR 2.
You know what? Let's just jump to that real quick, then we'll loop back around. Speaking of PSVR 2, it ain't doing so hot. Sony has reportedly halted production of PlayStation VR 2 due to a surplus of unsold units just 1 year after its launch in February of 2023. The reporting here goes, Bloomberg looked into it, and they're like, they are kind of pausing production on these things as a whole. And it seems like, the people that provide components for PSVR 2 are no longer getting orders from Sony to make a new PSVR 2. And the reasoning is there's a lot of PSVR 2s sitting on the shelves and no one's buying them. Now, that it's not too surprising because Sony's not supporting it with a ton of new games. It's very expensive. People are focusing on $550. People are focusing on churros instead. If it's the common thing, economists are all talking about it. The churro-based economy.
Sure. It's the churro index. Yeah.
The churro index.
Delicious.
And so it's hard to convince people to to fork over that money when they're spending on churros instead, especially when there are no video games for the thing that are coming out and get people excited. So I'm not too surprised by this. But I'm wondering, is Sony abandoning it fully? Because it kind of feels like that. Because what the alternative here would be lower the price, make some deals for some of these games, finally actually get Half-Life Alyx on there. But they're not pulling these levers that they could be pulling. And to me, that says it's because they don't care. They are moving. They're thinking beyond the PSVR 2 already. Does that sound right to y'all?
Yeah,
I think they... Go ahead, Mike.
Go ahead, Jan. No, I'm nice offing still. You go, Jan.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
I think they should have pulled the lever before it even came out and decided not to release it, because it just feels like a complete blip in the PS5 timeline.
Yep.
Yeah, I just don't understand why, if you're going to do this, I can't believe they did it so half-heartedly with PSVR 2. How do you not figure out some kind of backwards compatibility? Or at the very least, at least make an upgraded version of Astrobot Rescue Mission, like the one PSVR game you had that people were like, yeah, this is the best VR game ever. You don't leverage that in any ways. You don't go out of your way to make some kind of deal with Valve to get Half-Life Alyx on there. It's not like they would be that adverse to it. They've released plenty of Valve games on consoles before. They seem to be pretty happy to port stuff. You have to make that one happen, or I don't even understand what you're trying to do.
On Game S yesterday, Grubb, the poll was, do you have a PSVR 2? And one of the comments I noticed was, yes, and RE4 is the best VR experience I've ever played. And I thought,
people really like those Resident Evil games in VR, yes.
That sounds terrifying, though.
Yeah, Resident Evil 7 is one I would always hear Mark from 8.4 Play talk about. And I'm like, you're a sociopath. I could never do that. That's that's the scariest thing I could possibly imagine.
Yeah. But hearing that, someone saying it's the best VR game I've ever played.
Have they not played Beat Saber? I'm so confused. What?
Well, Beat Saber standing in place, it is very fun, but playing a full game where you're just bopping around, it's mildly enticing. Maybe I'll just try and steal the PSVR 2 from the GameSpot office.
Yeah, do that. I would like
anyone
that.
Notice it was missing.
Yeah, I would watch you play Resident Evil 4 in VR. I would like to see that.
Oh,
I
no.
like
All right, Jan, we're bouncing back up to this story. Steam Families expands game sharing on Steam. Valve has introduced Steam Families, a comprehensive platform aimed at enhancing game sharing, monitoring children's activities, and facilitating purchases on Steam. This new feature amalgamates and replaces both Steam Family Sharing and Steam Family View, offering a streamlined experience for users. Available in beta, Steam Families enables users to create family groups, which I think includes a total of 6 people, manage them across multiple devices, and implement parental controls to regulate gaming and purchasing activities. Many of these features existed sort of separate from one another on Steam before. Now they're bringing them all together in one place. And the big thing for me is now when you share your family library of games with someone else in the family sharing model, when you go to start up a game, it's not going to kick off someone else who's playing a different game. If you try to play the same game, that won't work. But now if I'm playing Balatro and someone else wants to play Resident Evil 4, we could both do that from my library at the same time. Oh. I'm personally excited about this because my kids are gaming more and more frequently. And sometimes I'll have games and I'm like, yeah, but I'm playing a review game on Steam kind of constantly this weekend. And so when you want to try to play Hotel Transylvania on the Steam Deck over there, it's not going to work. I'm sorry about that. And they don't understand that. But now it will. And I have that second Steam Deck because I got the OLED and that's the one I use. So I'm going to set that up for the kids and have that ready to go. And now they'll be able to play all my games and I don't have to buy them a second time. They could just have their accounts on my family account. I'm actually super excited about this. And I hope it's a trend that Nintendo follows with the Switch going forward because that would be helpful there as well. But this is my circumstances. I don't know if anyone else is caring about family sharing, but hey, family can include friends. Found family is a family. So people are going to take advantage of this in a lot of ways. So
salute me familia.
Exactly. Yes. You could share games with Vin Diesel is what I was trying to say there.
Coronas. Can you believe that at the end of the Fast and the Furious ride at Universal, they don't just have a stand selling Coronas?
I don't believe that.
That's missed opportunity in theme park revenue history. Sorry to change the subject. Yeah. I don't know. I'll probably try to rope my brothers into this. Why not?
Sure.
I don't know.
Yeah. I feel like my sister could get on board with this. I feel like we could do this. Also, at the end of the Jurassic Park ride at Universal, there's Island New Bar, which is great.
Yes. Yeah, that's where you can they have a special IPA made just for them over there. That's fun.
I could fuck up a Marg.
No, apparently not.
That's it.
All right. New Xbox dev kit appears in South Korea. A new Xbox development kit has received certification in South Korea, suggesting ongoing advancements in Microsoft's gaming strategy. We don't know what this is in terms of what is new here. But people have identified this. It is a new dev kit. It's got a new designation number, all this other stuff. But in terms of is this for actual new hardware? What is this? Does this unlock for developers? It's unclear right now. There is ongoing rumors that Microsoft is developing both a handheld and, well, it's not a rumor. They confirmed they're making a next-gen Xbox that's going to be the most powerful leap ever from one generation to the next. And then they said they would have hardware news this holiday, one way or the other. And, of course, we know from the FTC leaks that Microsoft was working on a revision of the Xbox Series X that would have been, have more storage, no disk drive, was going to be cylindrical instead of rectangular. So they're working on a bunch of stuff constantly, but what does this actually accomplish? No one knows exactly. So mysterious, and the timing does line up with GDC. So Microsoft could be talking to a bunch of developers about, hey, this thing is out there now. Let us know if you want one. And maybe this holiday we get some sort of update. I just don't know why they would need a whole new dev kit if it's just an Xbox Series X with more storage. It does suggest that maybe there's more going on here.
Yeah, you have to wonder how much they're already losing to PlayStation. Just how much more ground are you willing to give up to them if they're going to do a full-on mid-generation refresh like that, right? And again, a part of me is well, maybe it is smart to just kind of concede the generation a bit and maybe be first with the quote unquote next generation and come out with something that's going to be even more significantly powerful than a PlayStation 5 Pro. And in the meantime, you can have cute things like a portable.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they are willing to be that patient about it.
You wouldn't need a whole new dev kit if you were just making a portable device to ape this generation, right?
Well, you probably would. If a new dev kit for a portable that is going to have like some differences in terms of how things work, because it's not going to have the exact same GPU. They'd probably shrink it down. It'd be similar. They could use similar architecture, but I think they would want to have a bespoke dev kit that takes advantage of what that hardware is. I don't think that. But for the record, I don't think this is that. This is too soon for a handheld.
Sure. Quick tangent. I was walking around Target the other day, and I was very confused when I popped by the video game aisle, because just out and about, from far away, it looked like they just had a bunch of Xbox 360s just hanging out there. I'm like, what the fuck is happening
Did
here?
you time travel? What happened?
Yeah.
I thought I did for a second, and I was ready to like abuse this time loop. But then upon further inspection, it's a Lego Xbox 360 kit.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Did
Yeah,
that?
they got.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have those.
I didn't know they did that, and I
Wait,
almost
like
pulled
you
the
make
trigger.
the Xbox 360 out of Legos?
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't know if it's a functional shoot Xbox.
I
don't
look
think
at
so.
that. You even get to make a Halo 3 case.
Oh yeah.
This
It
is
was-
also $150, which for Lego, not bad.
Yeah.
It's always like
Price-wise.
7 cents per brick, right? That's usually like 7 to 8 cents per brick.
oh,
so how many
it's
bricks is it?
Mega Blocks.
Right.
Oh,
Microsoft
that's why
always.
it's so cheap.
Yeah.
That's why it's so cheap. Oh,
I
no,
was-
we
yeah.
have Lego at home.
Halo's
Maybe I
always
don't
been with Mega
understand
Blocks.
Man, yeah. I don't know why immediately I'm not interested anymore. I'm a bad person. It's not the brand I care about. I was always so upset in my youth that Star Trek was with Mega Blocks, because they never looked that good. And all the Star Wars Legos are amazing.
But I don't think that makes you a bad person. I think Lego is better than Mega Blocks, right? It just
Yeah.
is. So
It's like Rose Art and Crayola.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Rose Art, the formula was just straight up worse than Crayola. What were you going to do? It was too waxy. You couldn't get a good line.
It didn't matter that you got more crayons. Those crayons were garbage.
Yeah, it was quantity over quality. That was what they prioritized. They just, if you could draw even a little bit, they'd give you those garbage art kits with absolutely nothing useful in them.
Yeah.
And you get like 50 every birthday.
They even though they added 4 more shades of brown than Crayola, none of them were still my skin complexion. What the fuck?
Wow. It's fucked up.
SNK fully reveals Fatal Fury City of the Wolves with 2025 release confirmed. This is something they talked about previously, but now we actually get to look and see what this game is, and they confirmed it's actually coming out. It is the new fighting game. It looks really, really cool. It looks pretty similar to SNK's recent fighters, like King of Fighters. But I think there's, like that means like the comic book elements, the sort of Street Fighter like streaks of animation that happen. I think it looks fantastic. And I'm like, oh yeah, Fatal Fury, like that. The fact that this is back and they're making a real deal, like what looks like top tier fighting game based on Fatal Fury again. We are officially back with fighting games. Fighting games are back. We've done it, everybody. We made it. I'm so happy we're here.
I'm very excited for this one. I played Garu, Mark of the Wolves, whatever it's called,
Mark of the
which was
Wolves.
the last main Fatal Fury. It came out
1999.
Yeah, it came out quite a while ago. It's a very good game. So very excited that we are getting this. I think it looks like a ton of fun. I still don't love the way the modern SNK games look with like, it's just 3D models, and they're trying to stylize it a bit more here. There's more cell
It's a
shading.
little bit more stylized, yes.
But man, if there's like one of these fighting game companies that maybe should just be using pixel art still, I kind of wish it was SNK. Because like it just doesn't look as good as a Street Fighter 6 or even an Arc System Works game. And of course, those are maybe hard to compete with. And it doesn't matter that much. The game looks like a ton of fun. I'm very excited.
Am I ever going to get another Bloody Roar game?
No.
I probably not, but at this point, it's like it's.
Oh, nuts.
You could get something very much inspired by it, because it feels like we're in the high tide for fighting games, where all these big companies are bringing back a lot of their franchises and doing stuff with that. And then I think we will get to the point where it's like, and then all the indie developers inspired by this wave will start looking around and be like, well, I wish they would make this. And I think some fan will make something inspired
Scout,
by Bloody
please.
Roar.
Yeah, and, we still need to see a bit more of that 3D game revival, which I hope is happening with Tekken 8's success. When we see Virtual Fighter come back, that's going to be a good sign there. I want to see Dead or Alive come back. and maybe a few others before we get back to Bloody Roar, but maybe.
Sorry, I'm just doing a poll for Sean. There we go. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth's sales surprise its studio.
Why am I insane? What did I do this time?
It's just what Sean said. I'm just doing his bidding here. Masayoshi Yokoyama.
For thinking Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is an ugly game. I don't think this is as hard to take as Sean thinks it is. It's fine that we disagree on this, but his position is that I am crazy for thinking that Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is not a particularly pretty game.
I don't like the look of it either. Don't worry, Mike.
Thank you very much, my dear
there's
friend
a wave of support
Jan.
for you in chat as well, Mike.
Look at that!
Infinite Wealth sold really well, and it's surprising the developer. They're like, I think they, it's growing from game to game, but I think this one really popped off much more quickly than they were expecting. And now they're like, oh, wow, okay, this is working. The strategy of doubling down on these new characters, giving a full send-off to Kiryu, that is something people really, really want to see, and it's paying off. So, yeah, it defied their expectations. I imagine, and I don't think this is some, I'm not really out there walking on the edge here. They're probably going to keep making Like a Dragon games. They've done it for this long. They're not going to abandon it now.
Yeah, absolutely. They should remake more of them. They should do a bunch. I bet having these games on Game Pass, so many more people got into this series.
Yes, that's definitely true.
A ton.
Yeah.
There was just a lot more excitement. It seemed like going into this one, even with like weird things like, because there were a couple remakes and spinoffs leading into this one that didn't seem like it got a whole lot of excitement, but people still kind of understood the difference of importance with this mainline entry, and they got very excited for it. Even when things were pretty crowded, there were a lot of January, February releases happening, and this one still was able to stand out pretty well.
I want them to time travel in the next one. I want Kiryu to like just pop up in a different era and just be very
go like
confused.
Saints Row 3, Saints Row 4 with the next one, get real weird.
Weird, yeah.
With future or past?
Past. Definitely the past.
Oh, like that Nancy Drew game where she's just inexplicably in the 40s. That makes sense. 30s? Something like that.
Yeah.
It'd be like that. No explanation.
Exactly like that.
He doesn't even have to time travel like in the game. He's just in a different era.
Oh, yeah. We can get Kiryu go back to 1930s New York like that episode of Star Trek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when he doesn't look for Hitler to kill him before he takes power, it's like, why? What are you doing? Well, why aren't you killing Hitler?
Well, because Spock's going to tell him that like Hitler has to live or something.
Yeah, that's right. That's very important to J.K. Rowling. Yeah. Okay. So that Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, its trailer debuted at Summer Game Fest last year. That trailer was really good. I think people are like, what is going on here? If you've never been into that series before, that was like, it was very enticing. I think, and people are like, I'm going to check this out. I'm going to remember it. The naked guy in Hawaii. I'm not going to forget about that. So when that game comes around and people are like, here's the naked guy in Hawaii game, I think a lot of people are like, yeah, I've heard my friends talking about Like a Dragon before. I'm going to check this out.
Yeah, I think the other trailer that they released after that one, where it just features Dondoko Island, was also very effective. Of like, what is this game?
Right?
Is this Animal Crossing?
Here's a whole trailer and like feature overview for one of the mini games in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth.
U.S. game spending could be down 10% this year. Market research firm Circana forecast a potential 10% decline in U.S. consumer spending on games for the year 2024. Analyst and friend of the site, Matt Piscatella, indicates significant uncertainty in the market due to factors like delayed hardware releases, lack of established blockbusters from Sony, and unpredictability in game development. And we kind of understand many of these factors here. The delayed hardware, the Switch 2 was, by all accounts, supposed to launch this year. Now it's not coming out until next year. There is also Sony confirming no sequels to established AAA video games for this entire fiscal year through the end of March. Those factors, and then you weigh it against like, okay, last year had Zelda, had Harry Potter, games that sold very, very well. And there are games selling very, very well this year, but it is stuff like Helldivers 2 and Pal World, which cost about half the price of what Harry Potter cost or Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. So less money is coming in, even though people are just as interested in buying video games. So the comparisons are going to be pretty tough. And by the end of the year, Matt says it's like it could be down around 2%, but the worst case scenario could be down as much as 10% for this year. And that is what many of these big publishers are worried about. So that's why we've seen many of them freak out and kind of overcorrect in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're panicking and cutting staff so that we will continue to have problems releasing enough games in the future. So that's great.
Right, and that's one of the reasons the year's down is because there's going to be fewer games, right? So it's like making fewer games. How is that the answer here?
Kind of weird cycle.
I don't think they understand how it works.
It's like that. It is how it works here, because what we're talking about is the spending's going to be down because the games that are selling cost less. If people were excited about a $70 game, they would be buying that. People are still just as excited about video games as they were a couple years ago, for the most part. And these companies are just not putting out stuff to really capitalize on that. So they're missing an opportunity. And so because of that, the comparison is going to be down year to year. But it's not like there's some rushing out of the industry of millions of players that were spending money on games, and now they have a new hobby distracting them from that. That's not what's happening here.
Yeah, like I see so many normie friends talking about Helldivers 2 and posting about Helldivers 2, yet no one even in these media games journalism circles is talking anything about Skull and Bones.
No. Right. Well, but it's like good games do well.
Turns out.
Suicide Squad and Skull and Bones aren't doing great. It's a shocker.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so weird too. It's just the takeaway is never like we should work harder to make good, interesting games. It's always just people aren't buying games anymore, I guess.
Right.
No.
It's not even like working harder. It is just like better decisions being made at the top.
Yeah.
Like, why did we make a live service Suicide Squad game?
Yeah,
especially from the studio that made Batman.
Shareholders love live service games, Mike Minotti. Don't you know that?
Cool.
Oh, let's appease the shareholders. Yeah, especially when the strongest parts of any of those Arkham games was when you hop online with your buddies and forget about Batman and the story of Batman.
Where we drop it, Robin. Embracer confirms $247 million sale of Saber assets and withdraws from Russia. That's Embracer is now no longer has any business in Russia. Embracer Group has finalized the sale of Saber Interactive, encompassing studios like 3D Realms and Slipgate Ironworks. These are studios that were underneath of Saber Interactive, which is a publisher and a developer. Beacon Interactive provided the $247 million to make this purchase. This move allows Embracer to cease operations in Russia while enhancing cash flow. And by that, they mean actually just spending less money on the people making their games. Beacon Interactive, led by Saber Interactive co-founder Matthew Karch, plans to exercise an option to acquire 4A Games and Zen Studios, that's the Metro and that pinball developer, respectively, potentially increasing the deal's value to $500 million total. So, Embracer bought Saber for $500 million, and basically they're just buying themselves back out because Embracer's a nightmare. It's a mess, and Saber's going to have a series of games that are probably going to do pretty decent. Expeditions, a Mud Runner game, is doing very well. They're gonna have Space Marine 2, and these games they could make them a lot of money.
That Jurassic Park game that looks sick.
Exactly. The one that's inspired by Alien Isolation. These are a lot of things that's like, oh, these could do 1 million copies pretty easily. Some of them could pop off to be even bigger successes, especially if they catch on, on the TikTok trends and on Twitch and stuff like that. But under Embracer, that would not have made a dent in their debt. Here, as an independent studio / publisher, once again, Saber can actually maybe get some wins and start focusing on expanding their business in a responsible and meaningful way, and not just blindly acquiring everything around you the way Embracer had. So good news for Saber Interactive, a publisher that I really respect.
Where's this going with Embracer? Is this just like Embracer's gonna keep losing things until there just isn't an Embracer anymore? Is there gonna be some small shell shriveled in the corner that we call Embracer that has a few studios under it? What's the end game here?
You think they've laundered enough money?
Have they laundered enough money?
Yeah. If they have, then maybe they'll start shrinking things down even more. So I think things like the deal with Microsoft to help work on the Initiatives game which was Perfect Dark, right? To work on Perfect Dark, like they'll keep that deal, and then they'll have them work on some other stuff. The like Tomb Raider deal, which involves movies and television and a game with Amazon, they probably see stuff like that through. I think everything else that doesn't have a rock solid big money deal like that is on the table to get cut or sold off. Like they're going to sell off the Borderlands studio here pretty soon. I can never remember the name of them. What's the name of the Borderlands studio?
Gearbox.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Gearbox.
You
They're
affected
going
my
to sell
brain, too. I
Gearbox
couldn't
next.
Remember.
Yeah.
Of course they are.
And it's like, well, they're not going to keep Gearbox around. Everything must be on the table, and I think everything is. And I think they'll sell off everything they can, and then I think they'll probably close a few more things that they can't sell off because it's really miserable over there. They really have no idea what they're
Are
doing.
they gonna hold on to Lord of the Rings? I don't quite understand that, but they own the Lord of the Rings somehow, right?
Yes,
They got
Part
Gollum.
of it.
They acquired
part of it.
everything. No, they acquired everything except for the publishing rights. That's They don't have the publishing rights for the books, I think, but beyond that, they own everything else. So they could
Do
you
they
have to
own
go through
all the lore?
They own Tom Bombadil.
They own the copyright.
Fuck?
Yeah, they own
That's-
everything. They own Tom Bombadil.
Free bomb.
So if you want to make a
crazy.
movie, TV show, you have to go through them now,
Oh
basically.
my god.
Man, that's so weird that this
It
company
is.
that's on fire owns the Lord of the Rings.
I never think about it, but you're right. That is so weird. It's so weird.
So odd.
I know a company that probably would love to buy some theme park rights to that stuff. So maybe they should make that deal.
How far
You
away
might
is
wanna
Lord of the
make-
Rings from public domain? Because it came out in like,
The Hobbit was the 20s, I think. Lord of the Rings is more.
Oh,
like
so
30s
pretty
and
close.
40s.
okay, so Hobbit's pretty close then.
Is the
Yeah,
is the
okay.
Hobbit gonna enter the public domain? I guess I never thought about it.
Rex,
go
Mickey
build
Mouse.
that.
What
They're
was
gonna
Mickey
make
Mouse, Mike?
they're gonna make a creepypasta Frodo where his colors are inverted and his head turns around.
Yeah, it'd be great. We'll make a
Everyone loves
bad.
that shit.
Yo, yeah,
movie
yeah,
that
yeah,
wins
yeah, yeah,
7
yeah, yeah. Real
Razzies.
quick.
Yo.
Mike
Yo.
Minotti, Bailey Meyers, how do you feel about Winnie the Pooh?
Love him.
Think
Love
he's
that
great.
freak.
Okay,
Think
cool.
he's great. Love that he doesn't wear pants. What a pervert. Into it.
Thank you.
I,
Thank you.
Yeah, they're going to turn that Winnie the Pooh gift store in Critter Country in Disneyland to be, for instance, the frog theme because of the
Mhm.
Splash Mountain overlay. But they are saving the Winnie the Pooh candy section, which is important to me. I love Winnie the Pooh. Pooh's Grand
Candy section's
Adventure
good.
is the best of Disney's direct-to-video output in the 90s. Check out Pooh's Grand Adventure.
You're
on
right.
Disney Plus. Yeah.
You're right, and you should say it.
It rules. It's so good. Great songs. It's like the one Winnie the Pooh movie that kind of like has like an actual plot and maybe stakes. Oh, it's good.
That
Thank
one's
you.
great. It's somehow even better than Aladdin King of Thieves, even
Yeah.
though like
Like King of Thieves is
Prince
very
of Thieves? King of Thieves?
good. It is King of Thieves.
King of Thieves, yeah, because it's his dad
Yeah.
they're talking
Welcome
about.
to the 40 Thieves.
That's the one.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll ask to fly early before SGF so I can sneak in a Disney trip.
I was gonna look. I didn't want to bring it
Oh
up
my
now,
god.
but like, do you guys like before Summer Game Fest? Anybody want to go to Disneyland with me?
Yeah, kind of.
Yes.
Yeah, all right. I
Like
mean,
so much, Minotti. We haven't been to
See you,
Disneyland
Nikki.
together. I forget these other chuds. Like, let's go
Yeah.
to Disneyland together, Mike Minotti.
Yeah,
Have.
but if
You
I
guys
go,
can come too. You guys can come too.
Jan, I think if we go, we can get fandom to pay for it. We listen. We have
Hey.
that sway.
you know what I need to do? I gotta find somebody who can get me into Club 33. I gotta make that. That's a big one on the bucket list. We gotta make that happen.
Michael Minotti, don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
I've been
You gonna
to
make my
Club
dreams
33
come true,
once.
Jan? You gonna make my dreams come true?
You got it,
When
baby.
you wish upon a Jan, makes no
all right.
difference.
Last
if you
last
can.
story here. This is the last story we're doing. Riven remake launches in 2024 for
Let's
PC and
fucking
VR.
go!
Cyan has announced the launch of the Riven, the sequel to Myst, which is the official name, Riven, the sequel to Myst, a remake for PC, basically like PC, like flat screens, 2D, and they're also going to do it for virtual reality. Something I think they did do that with Myst, right?
Yeah, 2020, Cyan did the same exact thing with Myst. That remake was very well received. From what I understand, for one thing, these games were kind of point and move kind of things even before we were doing that in VR. The remake recreates the world in an actual like 3D space. So you can actually just walk around and stuff instead. Yeah, I'm excited. Riven is the game that I have not played that I think about the most. I think. I like that name for one thing. That box art was always very striking. There was like this big bulbous orb. It kind of looked like one of those eggs from Alien, but more circular. How
much Mist lore do you know?
A good amount, because my older brother was very much into Mist.
Could you recount any of it in a way that like makes it sound truly unhinged? Because whenever someone tries to explain it to me, I think it sounds unhinged.
Yeah, there's a guy who makes books, and the books contain worlds, and he has two sons, and they kind of want to like get in on this world stuff. But the dad's like, that's no good.
Worlds.
So he traps them.
Oh my god,
in
this
the
is
books.
like what happened with Dune.
Yeah, so they're trapped in the books, and you go to the island, and then like old guys like, and you find the sons that are like, I'm not evil, you should let me out of the books, and like maybe you shouldn't do that.
All right, well there you go, everybody. Ribbon. Final headline: Sonic and Angry Birds are crossing over in 5 mobile games starting this week. I think.
Why were you going to gloss over that?
Yeah,
I don't know.
This is the crossover event of the century, of the millennium.
You're right. I apologize.
A lot of big mobile game news this week.
Yeah.
I just
Balatro on mobile as well. There you go. Yeah.
I'm sure Angry Birds is still making money, but like,
not enough to stop Sega from buying them, though. I mean, Sega bought Rovio, so
yeah.
How much money could they really be making? They're not making that much.
Yo, imagine if Red the Angry Bird pops up in Sonic 3. What the fuck?
Oh my god.
It'd be so messed up. And then Tails is angry. It's like, I'm his friend that flies.
Sonic Dash will have players can collect exclusive Red and Chuck character cards while dashing through levels. Angry Birds 2, the Tower of Fortune offers 8 new Sonic Friends hats, fully upgradable to increase flock power. You guys want to increase your flock power with Sonic Friends hats?
I think I could do that on Merlin.
Silver the Hedgehog increases my flock power so hard. Angry Birds Friends, Sonic assists players in taking down bad piggies in a special tournament. Come on, man. Sonic is slumming
I thought Sonic
so
loves
hard.
pigs. Isn't he friends with one in the new movie?
Not the bad piggies, though. Come on. Oh, my God, Bailey. Oh, my God, Bailey. Jesus Christ. She nailed it. That was incredible.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Oh,
this
man.
Orbital strike. Holy shit.
Fucking Cyclops.
And the
Took me
segment.
a second.
It's because I finished my Diet Coke and now I'm sharp. Now
There
I'm
you
ready for the
go.
podcast.
And
we can
that
hit
does it
record
for the
now.
news, everybody. Jan, the show is back to you. Please save us.
I will not stand for any James Marsden slander. He is on a renaissance of his career. I've been watching a lot of James Marsden movies as Marsdenaissance. He's really good on Jury Duty. I liked him in season 1 of
He's great on Jury
Westworld.
Duty.
But that character
Nikki
would
just texted me, great joke, Bailey.
that character would 1,000,000% like that Try That in a Small Town song, though. I'm sorry, Dan.
He's so good in Enchanted, and I love Jury Duty. I'm a big James Marsden fan.
He's very good in Enchanted. I'm still on the fence about his portrayal of Cyclops, but that's the whole of those movies.
That's not his fault.
It's not his fault. All right.
Yeah.
We're going to go take a quick break, and we will be back with your emails. Emails. Play the music, me.
I love emails. What a great way to communicate.
Yeah.
Emails. It's very efficient. If I don't need to instantaneously message someone and ask about stuff.
Instantaneously.
Instantaneously.
That's not what
We
you
knew
said.
what you meant, Jan. Don't worry
Thank you.
about
Look,
it.
I'm sorry to stop the show to point it out. But yes, you said that word funny.
I flub words on purpose all the time, just laying little breadcrumbs, trying to get people to notice me more. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address to send your emails to. I love all the emails that you send. I've started to unsubscribe from a lot of the mailing lists that you keep signing our podcast up for.
Every time you say that, we're gonna get signed up for more, though. Just so you know.
That's so fucking funny.
I know.
You guys should keep doing that.
Don't listen. Don't sign up bombcast@giantbomb.com for another email list, please. I can only stand so many recipes and coupon offers for Skyline chili.
Well,
Has anyone
You
been
can just
sending you
forward those to
horoscopes
me.
yet? Oh, yeah.
We were on a horoscope mailing list for a while, but I had to unsubscribe us from that because it started talking about crystals.
oh man. Well, crystal news is the most important. Do we still get the ones for Blaze TV? What's Glenn Beck up to?
No, I unsubscribed us from that. But
All right.
I was looking back, and we did get invited to what's it called? There was a Tom Brady movie that came out last year.
Oh, 80 for Brady?
80
Yeah.
for Brady.
We got invited to the 80 for Brady premiere?
We got it.
Jan?
What?
See, this is
You
what
blew
happens.
it!
This is what happens.
Yeah, I thought about bringing it up to the crew. I'm like, oh, no one's gonna want to do this.
Oh my
I-
God, you fool.
100% would have done that. That would
This
have been
would have
great.
been
I could have met Gronk.
This would have been my ticket into Hollywood. Imagine I invade Hollywood and become a D-list actor because of my involvement in 80 for Brady. Could have been there. I just want to be in one Lifetime movie. Let me do that, guys. Anyway, first email comes from Luke from Hamilton, Ontario. Subject reads, The Prindle and Other Brainworms. Greetings, Bombinos. Ever since I heard Jan casually referencing the Prindle, shouts out to Mr. Mosby, on the pod a couple of weeks ago, it's had me wondering, what other one-off jokes in a TV show, movie, other piece of media, not wrestling, immediately entered your lexicon and got stuck there permanently, much to the confusion of 98% of the rest of the world? Thanks for all the great content that keeps me vaguely sane at work. Luke from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, sent from Mr. Bones' Wild Ride.
I did make a snipe joke the other day, which I know is a thing, but I was mostly thinking about the episode of Cheers when I was bringing that one up to Dan in his Bird app.
For me, this is like everything is Seinfeld. Like Seinfeld had so many of these, like Close Talker and Man Hands, and things like that. There's a
She
ton.
eats her peas one at a time.
Yeah, I'll use Close Talker and things like that in like regular conversation. But those are, I think, have like actually infiltrated the lexicon, the public lexicon, to the point where
Sure.
everyone gets those. I do from speaking of Mr. Mosby and How I Met Your Mother. Whenever someone says something
Mr.
like,
Mosby.
"Oh, is it a different Mr. Mosby? What is it? What was that one then?"
Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. How could
Oh,
you
man.
forget?
How could you not
Oh,
watch Sweet
Jesus
Life of
Christ.
Zach and Cody?
Jeff and I are too old for that one. Sorry.
Okay.
What about
Wow,
Sweet Life on Deck?
No.
Yeah,
That
what
one they
about
weren't
Sweet,
too old for,
Sweet
weirdly
Life on
enough.
Deck? I'm sorry, I'm just I'm reckoning with my age here. Mr. Mosby, Mr. Ted Mosby, in How I Met Your Mother would be like general. Whenever someone like use the word general before something, and so whenever I hear
Yeah.
that now, I also do like the salute, just in my brain, not like actually physically, because that'd be deeply embarrassing. But I do physically want to do it every time I hear someone say something like that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I watched Parks and Rec a lot with my friends, and they had that treat yourself thing. So we say treat yourself a lot. One day we actually had a treat yourself day. And like, I think that same week we had another treat yourself day. It was just like an excuse for us to eat whatever we wanted. And our other friend had to be like, guys, you've been treating yourselves too much.
Oh, is it like a special day where you don't eat any fruits and vegetables?
Okay, all right. Hey.
Catching strays.
Look at this. I'm drinking a diet green tea citrus. There's probably fruit
What's
juice
that?
in this. There's fruit
What
involved.
needs
Look
to
at
be
this picture.
diet
There's
in
fruit
tea?
involved.
Pictures of fruit. On
What's your
the
favorite
label.
fruit? Citric acid. That's
Yeah,
my favorite
lime.
fruit.
Can lime be my favorite fruit? Does that count? It's great in margaritas.
Oh my
Sure.
There we go.
Uh, Yeah, going off of Parks and Rec, I started copying all of Tom Haverford's like little extra words. Like I would, instead of saying chicken parm, I go cheeky cheeky parm parm.
I did, yeah.
That's pretty
yeah.
good.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
food
the Tom
rakes.
Haverford energy.
And then I think I started doing that too much in my day to day that I will occasionally infect Jeff Bakalar's lexicon, and then it'll annoy the crap out of Dib. And it's like, Dad, just say the word.
I also think about in Parks and Rec when the Adam Scott character was laid off, so he spends his time making a stop motion film, and he like shows it to his friend, and he's like, the words are, "Would a depressed person make this?"
Yeah.
So
Wait, me and my friends say that a lot to each other when we're showing our personal projects.
I don't know. I feel like just because I did a full rewatch of The Nanny recently, now a lot of the time I'll go like, meanwhile, like that. Like I can't stop doing it. And no one knows I'm referencing that show because they say meanwhile all the time. But they do. They say it all the time. And once you notice it, you can't stop noticing it. If you play a Nanny drinking game and you drink anytime they say meanwhile, you'll die.
Well,
Like
now
it's
I gotta
great.
Go check this out.
It's funny because there are some from these shows that if I heard, I think I would slap the person. Like if somebody came up to me and was trying to do How I Met Your Mother, like it's gonna be wait for it.
Oh my God!
I think
Yeah,
I would just actually smack him across the
I
face.
would leave. I would just die and leave.
Like no, absolutely not.
I may have been that person in a different life. Back in-
I know,
Sure,
Jen, but you've
we were
grown
all
since
weaker. Yeah. Oh my
I
God.
have
the
actually an
purrs are-
obvious one that we referenced earlier in this episode. It was from I Think You Should Leave. We're all trying to find the guy who did
Oh,
this.
sure, but that's
yeah.
like
fully in
that's
there.
just language now.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's so universal now. It's crazy.
Like there's Simpsons ones too, right? Like just the other day, I just went like, I could sing, and like Dan immediately started cracking up. The Simpsons references are a whole nother level.
Yeah,
I
Simpsons.
think
That's like the
threw
top tier.
I threw a boo earns at someone the other day.
It's
Um,
always so good.
Yeah, I went to a wine bar last night, and then I was just thinking to
Okay.
myself as I was sipping, what? All right. I live in San Francisco, damn it.
Oh my god.
Went to a wine bar, and then I was just thinking to myself, I love wine. I'm scared of how much I need wine. And then,
This show's so good.
yeah.
Swap them up.
With
Guys,
God.
please, no sloppy states. Oh, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
Baby
I
thinks
live-
that people can't change. And yeah, there's so many good ones. There's so many good ones.
Yeah, I always say I used to be a piece of shit, and I'm afraid with the mullet, I will just go back to being a piece of shit.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so
Wallet
excited.
Jan era's here.
Oh,
I'll do a lot of Tim and Eric. I'll do that's just like constantly going off my brain. Like you blew it, and I want to meet that dad. Whenever someone brings
Sure.
up dads, that's playing in my head. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. I used
Lots
to
of Tim and
say
Eric.
for your health a lot.
Oh sure, yeah. Calling the people step peppers, stepdads, or peps and step peppers. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Folks at home, I'd be interested to hear and see what we have put into your lexicon other than shoot and work and other bullshit.
Bug.
That was a good one, Earl. Anyway, next email comes from Alex in Bendigo, Australia. Hey, bombers. Recently, before I go to bed, I've been drinking a glass of warm water with half a teaspoon of cinnamon, quarter teaspoon of paprika, a few cracks of black pepper, and a drizzle of honey. It tastes fine in case you're curious. It's meant to increase your metabolism. I think this sounds like bullshit, but I haven't changed my eating habits, and I do feel more hungry since doing this. Is this working, or do I have a tapeworm? You have anything that sounds like hokey bullshit, but might actually work? Alex in Bendigo, Australia. Stop asking
Probably.
us for health advice, please.
Yeah, holding down the B button while you're trying to catch a Pokemon. That's the
Yeah,
one.
blowing in the cartridge, right? Yeah.
Right. That was absolutely bullshit. But to this day, I'm holding down that B button whenever that ball's rolling around there.
Yeah. I almost definitely have hokey stuff that I haven't zoomed out on in a while and have not re-examined and be like, oh yeah, that's definitely bullshit. But I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I own a Neopets tarot card deck and a Diablo tarot card deck.
Oh,
So
And too bad you're not gonna be a PAX. You give us tarot readings, but oh well.
What's the Neopets
take it up with
version of
Bagalar.
what's the Neopets version of the tower? What are we doing here?
It's downstairs. But the thing is, the Neopets one is like way more in detail than the Diablo one. Unfortunately, the Neopets one is downstairs. But they always have like art on the cards that's like really detailed, like Neopets. And especially if it's a bad card, the Neopet is like in distress. There's one where they're carving pentagrams into the giant omelet. Like, what are we doing here? And then the book, like the first paragraph is always like a description of what the art is, like you didn't notice. It's like, no, I see it. Can you tell me what my future is?
I actually have kind of fallen on depending on tarot cards as gifts, because Barnes and Noble has a whole section of them, and there's like there's themed to everything.
Yeah.
So it's always just kind of a fun, like, all right, well, this person, like, I had a friend who liked Fallout. I was like, there's a Fallout tarot card deck. Okay, I'll get them that, right? So why not? Is that the Diablo
Also, I think
one?
the like
This is the Diablo one.
That's
the
huge.
Venn diagram for
It's
like
sick.
girls that were into Neopets and that would be into tarot card readings is like a perfect circle. I think.
Almost all my girlfriends are into tarot cards. They
Yeah.
just are. I'm sorry, it's true.
These, I purchased neither of these. This was from the Diablo 4 launch event that
Okay.
that guy who did that Zed performed at, and it was great because Lilith shows up and she's like on wires and she's so hot and she's talking about how she's going to teach us salvation and knowledge and whatever, and then some random guy who does not sound like a video game voice actor stands up and is like, not if I can stop you, and she's like, and what's your name? And I'm like, the main character in Diablo doesn't have a name, who could it be? And he pulls his head down at some guy I'm supposed to recognize and he goes, Zed, and then the beat drops. Best party I've ever been to.
Wow.
See,
Hands
we're not gonna get that at PAX East. What do you?
No,
Yeah.
of course not.
Yeah.
No. Just give me
And the
screaming.
Neopets just sent me the other tarot deck. They were like, do you want this? I was like, of course I want that. Thank
What would
you.
be, if you could have a tarot deck themed on anything right now, what would it be?
Balatro, it's just a pack of cards.
I think I would want a Digimon tarot deck.
I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, that'd be pretty fucked up. I've watched a funny TikTok. I'm gonna send this to you, Mike Minotti. It's about
Okay.
Digimon.
A Muppet tarot deck would actually also be credible.
American Gladiators.
Oh, that's good.
Jet. Yeah.
Ooh, wrestling. Let's do that.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. It gets awkward when you get to some of those. Like, who are we putting on death?
Ugh. I was gonna say
man.
something, and that would have made
Yep.
me upset. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just put Undertaker on there. That's fine. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah. There you go.
Bailey, what did I draw?
4 of Swords.
Sick. What does that mean?
That's
You're
some
gonna
minor
die.
arcana shit.
Rest, recovery, careful consideration. You face a twisted quandary. You're exhausted from thinking about it and not one whit closer to a solution. Frustration is making it more difficult. Stop puzzling at it and calm your thoughts, letting them
This
rest
is-
on something pleasant,
Shut
and
up.
perhaps a solution will present itself.
This is
Bailey,
about buying my Crocs, isn't it? You can't
Size
decide
11,
which
right?
ones to get me.
Size
yeah,
11?
That's right.
Okay,
Size
yeah, yeah.
11.
Is
Yeah.
it the Stitch Crocs? Is it the Stitch Crocs?
I'm not gonna be able to find the Stitch Crocs in a
Yeah,
store.
I'm not. Listen, I just
I
want
found 'em.
basic bitch Crocs. I don't need the Stitch Crocs.
Bailey, that was too real, and I don't like how real that was. All right.
Sorry. So
Next.
that's the major problem with tarot is it's totally made up and bullshit. And then sometimes you'll get a reading where you're like, oh fuck, oh no, the universe sees me. Blah.
Yep. And I didn't like how I was just read like a book.
Mike Minotti's about to make you his Stitch.
Oh my God. Can we just move on, please?
Mike from Loveland writes in, hello, bombs. Have you all ever thought about drafting video games onto a fantasy team for random subjects? Like a snake draft where 4 people each draft launch games across consoles for a dream launch lineup. I hear this format from other podcasters who aren't as charming as funny as Giant Bomb Crew, and I think you could have a lot of fun stealing picks away from each other. Plus, since it's personal teams, if someone wants to do something wacky, no one can stop them. Anyway, love the Friday Revengeance topic format. Love you all. Mike from Loveland. Yeah, we should do that.
Like, do I do it again? I always beat you pretty bad, except for like 1 or 2
All right,
times.
so Jeff and I do this on our personal podcast where we'll pick like a console generation and we'll try to draft the best game lineup. And I'd always lose because I'm cursed with knowledge of what the actual good games are and not just like the most brand name normie popular ones. So Jeff always wins.
Yeah, I know the good games too. I know how the simple man thinks.
Like
I should appeal to
he'll
them.
just draft Smash Brothers Brawl, even though I'm like, no, that game had tripping. I hate it. But
Yep.
like
It did have tripping.
that bunch of people were like 10 when Brawl came out, so to them it's the most important thing in the world. That and Battlefront 2. So what can I do?
Yeah, we should do that. Sure.
Yeah, it's fun, and we could do like you don't have to just do console generations. You could just do like genres and stuff like that. So that'd be fun.
Yeah.
We can
I
mix
don't
that
know,
in.
Mitch, if you're already giving them Mount Rushmore, you're just
Well, see,
taking all
Mount
of
Rushmore,
our games.
I stole Mount Rushmore from other like sports podcasts, so that one they could definitely have. But you're right. Listen, maybe we can put the trademark on it.
Yeah, I will occasionally listen to the rewatchables, and my favorite segment on the rewatchables is Apex Mountain, of just seeing what is the peak of something. I'd love to throw that. in
that's
somewhere.
fun.
Let's steal
Let's
that.
steal
too.
that.
Like what was
Yeah.
the like in a franchise? What is the best one? Right? Like
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's do one right now, real quick, Jen. Give me something.
Final Fantasy.
The peak?
Yeah,
10
14.
9.
9.
It's 14.
2.
14 is just so different. It's always weird. Like I know people get mad when people do lists and they leave out 11 to 14, but I kind of get it. It's just like 14 is my second favorite video game ever. But if we're talking about what's peak Final Fantasy, it's 9.
I'm gonna say it's 10.
I can see 10. I just miss like having a world map in 10, right? It is like
Sure.
more linear and all that stuff.
You guys
Grub.
are forgetting that 10-2 starts with a banger pop song. I'm
It
just
does.
saying.
Oh my god.
I know you're dress sphere coded, all right, Bailey. It's fine, but it's not 10-2.
As someone who's like only moderately into some Final Fantasy games, I would still say 14. The way that it has taken over that fandom
Sure.
seems like it's peak Final Fantasy.
Okay. And like, Apex Mountain being like, this is when it was like the peak of popularity and like popular culture, non-gamers.
Well, then the answer is just 7. If it's about that,
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
But I
It's
feel, like,
obviously 7.
I feel like 10 reached
10 was
like,
also 10 is the next like most mainstream popular one. I agree, but I think 7 still
Okay.
edges it out there.
Oh, I needed on the record that I was 11 years old when 10-2 came out. So that might have been
Great.
what
Right, that
ensued.
makes sense. We
Yeah.
knew, but I'm glad you could confirm that for us.
Yeah, I just want everyone to know like the pop song was really what did it for me.
I was also 11 then.
Hell yeah,
I like the
Jan.
interpretation of peak, meaning like, no, what is your interpretation of what peak of the series
Oh,
means?
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think that's
Sure.
more interesting.
Yeah.
Like, instead of Mount Rushmore, we could have done like WWE games. Where was the peak? And like, you could argue, is it SmackDown versus Raw, the one that you brought up, Mike? Or is it
6.
2000
Yes.
Is it 06? Do you
It is.
go to Here Comes the Pain? Do you do any of the earlier WWE specific titles? Because it's not No Mercy. No Mercy is not the Apex Mountain there. You know what? We're just gonna steal
maybe.
the rewatchables. All right.
So no, I think it's No Mercy because everything after that has been trying to capture that again. And
Right.
to me, that's what peak means.
And there was a build up to No Mercy. We did have like WrestleMania 2000 first, and like I think Revenge was before that. So like it is kind of a build up to that being the ultimate Aki game in a lot of ways, unless you're counting Def Jam.
Watch out, Bill Simmons. We're coming for you.
There you
Okay.
go.
The rewatchables
Grantland.
categories are.
Jan
Oh, don't tempt me. I'm ready to take down that. I'm gonna take down all of the Ringer. I'll do it. They're fine. They're fine. Great people that work there. There's no beef. Most rewatchable scene. So this is specifically from the Rewatchables podcast.
Right.
Most rewatchable scene. Best quote. What age the best? What age the worst? The Dion
these are
Waiter.
good.
The Dion Waiters heat check performance. This is my favorite one. The overacting award. Casting what ifs. Half-ass internet research, unanswerable questions. Could this be remade as a 10-episode Netflix series? Apex Mountain and Who Won the Movie? We could do this for a game.
Movie.
Yeah. Let's
Like-
we should like write down a lot of these categories and kind of keep them in our hopper here, especially for BCR.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some good stuff. All right, next email is about candy combinations. This comes from Jeremy from Montreal. Hey, Bombers. Recently, Dan mentioned that when he was young, he would lie to his sisters that he couldn't share his Skittles because they were his medicine.
That's so
Well,
smart.
As a person with type 1 diabetes, I actually use candy as my medicine, and because of this, have a great fondness for candy and sweet things. During various hypocalemic, low blood sugar states throughout my life.
Hypoglycemic.
Oh, okay. I missed the G there. I've tried all sorts of combinations of candies and sweet foods. I used to make icing sandwiches, 2 slices of Wonder Bread with Betty Crocker vanilla icing in between.
That's a step
Hell
away
yeah.
from Australian fairy bread. So, like,
Yeah.
why not?
My most recent discovery was combining gummy Skittles with peppermint lifesavers. Somehow, this enhances the flavor of the Skittles while also giving them a more natural, fresh flavor. Highly recommend. What are some good or bad candy combinations you guys have tried? I'll give them a go.
I'm immediately thinking of Parks and Rec again. He's like, I put a Skittle in between 2 Starbursts. You know what I call it? The guy's like, a Skittle sandwich. He's like, oh, that's way better. I called it Andy's Mouth Surprise. It's like the flavor of the Skittles really complements the similar flavor from the Starburst.
Chris Pratt was so good in Parks and
He
Rec.
was
man.
very- Yes,
Was.
look,
It's
Chris-
too
Yeah.
bad he never did anything again after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get Chris Pratt hate to an extent, but he was on fire on Parks and Rec. He's very funny.
Yeah.
It's candy to me. I will mix together Snickers and a Honey Crisp apple. Because it tastes just like a candy apple. I'm not doing this to hurt you, Mike. I legit love it. It tastes so good. It tastes like.
Have you ever had a Cosmic Crisp apple?
Yeah, they're not as good as Honey
Okay,
Crisp.
fine.
They're,
All right.
they're close.
We can litigate
Listen,
this later.
I know my apples. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
But
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
get that shit out of here.
Whatever.
This isn't a candy rec, but it's kind of like a sweet rec. And this comes from an old email we got maybe 2 years ago. This was like at the cusp of when we were reaching peak glizzy saturation, but someone had offered a dessert glizzy situation where you take a hot dog bun, slather that bad boy in some PB, and then throw a banana on it. You got a peanut butter and banana sandwich right there.
That
Find
sounds
it all.
tasty.
I find it all upsetting. I don't have much of a sweet tooth, but it's all very upsetting. I don't know. Do you all put like anything in your popcorn buckets? My one niece likes to put in her like M&Ms in there, and she gets very excited about it. And I think that's like really cute. She like shakes it all up.
I like to
I
keep my
can't make
popcorn
the
and
joke I
candy
was gonna make.
separate, but like, because I want to like know when to expect it, and if I'm in the movie, like I'm not like actively but like I will like eat a raisinette and then like a couple things of popcorn. But it's just when I make my popcorn, it's really aggressively salty and buttery. So
Oh,
I love
as it should be.
popcorn.
Yeah,
I need
Gonna-
I got
gonna
a
burn
I got a
some
large at the Dune 2 the other night and brought it home because Steph was like, please bring some popcorn, and I did, and then I was working the next day and I went upstairs like, oh, I'm gonna go grab a handful of popcorn. That sounds nice. And the kids had just wrecked it. And it was like
Oh my
mostly
God.
still full. They just ate the entire thing in one sitting, basically.
When I used to work at the Filipino channel, our office was right next to a movie theater, and a lot of the aunties and uncles, the older folks that work there at the Filipino channel, would go to the movie theater, ask the usher to be like, I just want to go inside and buy some popcorn. Can I just do that? And they'd come back after lunch with like a large popcorn. And then shouts out to Uncle Ronnie. Uncle Ronnie, not my actual uncle, would always come to my desk. Like I'm like neck deep in editing stuff. And he'd like shovel it around my face like, come on, John. I know you want some popcorn today. Huh? Huh? And I'd be like, Ronnie, not right now. It's like, popcorn. It's fresh. I'm like, God, okay, I'll
that's
take
fresh.
some
That's really
popcorn.
compelling. Yeah.
And then one day he just gave me the whole bucket. So like I'm in an editing suite
wow.
and just like
Now it's been all about popcorn buckets ever since.
it's
You could tell
Uncle
you
Ronnie's
needed
fault.
it.
Uncle
Thank you,
Ronnie
Uncle
is
Ronnie, for doing
also
this
a
to
magical
Jan.
human being that like one day asked me to come to his desk and was like, John, I got a secret to show you. Only you, huh? I'm not making fun of the Filipino accent. I just want to make that clear. I just want to properly
think you're
represent
allowed
Uncle
to do
Ronnie.
it.
You're allowed.
It's
You're
all right.
allowed to. Mike can't.
No, that'd be
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah, not after that last time.
Death triangle.
The English accent is on point though, so you're not making fun of anything.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah. Well, it's so accurate, right? That's you get away with it because you know.
Uncle Ronnie, keep in mind some background to his character is that he's a 70-year-old IT guy that has worked at the Filipino channel since the dawn of the internet, it seems. But anyway, he pulls me over to his desk, takes his key to unlock his bottom drawer, and is like, John, are you ready for this, huh? Sige, okay. He puts a pelican case onto his desk, and then he like undoes the combo. It's like, don't look at the combo. It's my PIN number also. And then he opens the case, and it felt like a what's the Tarantino movie?
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction
Yes.
moment, because this fucker literally had lights installed into this Pelican case.
Oh, that rules.
Can you guys guess what was in this small Pelican case?
Popcorn.
Yeah, more popcorn is what I want to say.
These were $500 top of the line fidget spinners.
What the fuck?
Hell yes.
A fidget spinner worth a whole cubivore?
Yes.
It's probably made out of a cubivore disc. That'd be a great fidget spinner.
And he had 6 of them. And then he was like, I got these custom made, huh? John, like
Wow.
these ones.
Custom?
And 6 individual fidget spinners that are individually worth $500.
500 in
Who
increasingly
valued these?
degrees.
Oh man.
And then like
according to who?
he takes one off. He takes one out. He spins it, puts it on his desk, and like, John, this won't stop spinning ever, huh? It's perpetual. And
He did it.
Well,
I saw
Worth
the
a lot more than
Inception.
500, Mike. You doubted it. If it's a perpetual motion machine, I bet you have egg on your face now, Mike Minotti.
I think it'd be worth more than $500.
Yeah.
Perpetual motion.
and then I was like, Ronnie, I gotta go take care of something. I got a meeting. It's like, hey, I'll spin it at the start and you come back. You come back after the meeting. He spins it. I go to this meeting, it lasts maybe like an hour and a half. Come back. And then he smiles. And he's looking down the hallway as I'm walking back to his office or his desk. Is like, it's still going, John. It's still going.
Okay. Never mind. It's worth $500.
He
That's
spun it
amazing.
again. You
He's
weren't
right.
watching him.
You don't believe him?
I believe him.
You don't
think,
trust.
guys, shocking. I think the guy who's trying to hawk custom-made fidget spinners might be a bit of a con artist.
Was he trying to sell them to
Yeah,
you,
was he trying to
Jan?
sell
No,
him?
no, he
Yeah, I
wasn't.
think so.
He was just showing Jan his
It's his
precious
collection.
collection, you monster.
Yeah.
Uh,
God, so hateful, Mike.
I remember.
I don't think a fidget spinner cannot spin for 90 minutes.
You weren't there.
I have one right here. Let's see how long this one will go.
This
I'll
is
give it a quick spin on my-
unsurprising.
50 cents.
I know. And where's my time dot is? I'm gonna open this up right now. I'm gonna wait till I get to 40
Great.
here. So
Now we're going to be here all day, and I'm never going to have to play Skull and Bones again. I
There you
mean,
go, you're
I'm
welcome.
never going to get to.
And it's going. Okay.
Oh,
you
I
guys
don't
can
know why I
continue.
typed Uncle Ronnie into Facebook thinking I'd find him. All right. Last email of the show comes from your friend, sent from my iPhone. Okay, gang, we have to put a cap on it once and for all. What is the Mount Rushmore of Mount Rushmores? Your friend sent from my iPhone.
Mount Rushmore of point guards in the NBA. That's number one.
I was gonna say Mount Rushmore, that weird Confederate Mount Rushmore that I think's a thing.
Yeah.
It's the Hokage Mount Rushmore, duh.
Oh, yeah. And then just regular Mount Rushmore.
I said Mount regular one. There's the one in
Oh,
Pilot
I thought you said the
Wings.
Confederate one. I thought that's what you meant.
Isn't there a Pilot Wings Mount Rushmore? Is that just a Mario's
Oh,
face?
Yeah, there is a Mount Rushmore in Pilot Wings. Oh, my God. That's right. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I do
Only
like
a
the Planet of the
minute.
Apes one, 'cause that one's monkeys.
This thing's really starting to slow down here. We're reaching the minute mark right now. It's got a little life left in it, not much.
That's
Well,
what
that-
happens
that-
when you don't shell out the big bucks for the
Yeah,
good
that's
stuff.
science. You've proven that the $500 one will do nothing because you didn't spend that one.
Okay, it's done. It was a minute and 10 seconds. I find it hard to believe that there are different materials that could make it last exponentially longer than that. Get me in contact with this man.
Goose has opinions about Mount Rushmore, apparently. Sorry.
I was just trying to think of like, would Uncle Ronnie could I convince him to pop onto the voicemail dump truck
I would love that.
and show off his fidget spinners? Anyway,
Show me your fidget spinners, your 6 $500 fidget spinners.
he might have acquired more. Who knows?
Oh, man.
I hope so.
Yeah, those things have really been appreciating value.
Maybe there's a very
I've got a bed full of Beanie Babies I could trade for them.
maybe there's a niche community out there that is still like driving up the value. Who knows? Maybe collectors out there. But that does it for emails this week. Send your emails to bombcast@giantbomb.com. It's going to be a short week here at Giant Bomb. We got an episode of Game Mess Mornings popping off tomorrow and another episode of Super Dan 64, the Dan of Steel, on this current season of Blight Club. Grub and Mike get to lounge and back being bull and sip on tiki drinks while Dan struggles to fly through rings and the void that he is currently in.
With a wheel-shaped fidget spinner that was specially made by 50 people at Mitsubishi over the course of 6 months, a Guinness World Record was set for the longest duration spinning a fidget spinner on one hand. The accomplishment, a team effort by employees at the record-setting time was, you guys want to guess? Mike, what's your guess?
10 minutes.
Okay. Jan, what do you think?
30
minutes.
Bailey? How many minutes?
17 seconds. I don't think it was impressive. It's just a record.
The record-setting time was 24 minutes, 46 seconds. And that's
Pretty close, Jan.
Okay. Yeah, you're right there. Jan was closest.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, so Uncle Ron or whatever is full of shit.
You don't know how long Jan's meeting was?
Yeah,
He said it was like an hour.
And maybe he didn't call the Guinness people.
Yeah, he didn't call the Guinness people.
He's got the off the books record.
Yeah, Tommy Tallarico and Dan Reichert were too busy to strap.
All right, what else is popping off this week? We'll be at PAX East. Look forward to
not all of us.
Oh.
Well, some of us will be at PAX East. Got a panel popping off at Friday. Dan Dokudare live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Albatross Theater, Albatross Room, who knows, will be streamed live on twitch.tv/PAX2, and then Voicemail Dump Truck live on this Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be taking, if you see us on the show floor, we're soliciting voicemails in the form of videos. If you find us, if you see us, stop us, leave a voicemail in person. Bailey Meyers, what do you got popping off this week?
Playing Skull and Bones.
Hey.
But also, I'm streaming like normal, so you can just come watch me stream on my channel.
You want to
Alien
guilt
versus
me
Predator
for you having to play Skull and Bones while I'm at PAX. Feel free to DM me with any guilt you need to send me. I'll accept it. I understand.
All right. I can't believe you're going to be having delicious tiki drinks, and I'm going to have to play more goddamn fucking Skull and Bones. I promise to never play it on stream. Come watch.
I'll give you the keys to the Giant Bomb account if you just want to stream Skull and Bones there.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Oh, that would be fun. Actually, I would do that.
Mike, anything you got going on outside of hanging out with us hooligans?
Yeah, I have been streaming a lot on my Twitch channel, Tokoto, doing Mortal Kombat runs. Got to do some other things here soon. Jeff and I have the last of the Nintendogs happening tonight, Tuesday night. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Jeff Grubb Game Mess YouTube channel. We will not be doing Game Mess Decides our Thursday show because we will be traveling to Boston, actually. But Blight Club, though, don't miss Super Dan 64. It has been incredible.
Fantastic. I just confirmed that I bought tickets for the fucking episode 1 Phantom Menace coming back to theaters because I'm a sicko and I need to see it again. I need to relive it. Now that's pod racing.
Coming back to theaters?
Yep.
I am nostalgic for when it was in theaters. I don't like that movie all that much.
It was a lot of fun when that was.
It was so much fun. Exactly.
Remember Pizza Hut, KFC, and Taco Bell had that 3-way promotion.
I went right to the Taco Bell right afterwards, and I remember some guy saw me dressed up in my robes while he's like, "Well, what'd you think?" And I was like, "I loved it. It was so good." He's like, "Yeah, see, the critics don't know what they're talking about." I think about that a lot. I told that man a lie.
Who was your favorite character in episode 1? Mine was Watto.
Boss Nass. That's my dad's favorite character. If I say any of Boss Nass's lines, he just starts laughing. Yeah, the Naboo think that they so smart. I think the brain.
Oh no, you're not allowed to do that.
No. You remember that thing we said about the Filipino act? You can't do it. This is so similar.
The Death Triangle thinks they're so smart. Death Triangle thinks their brains so big.
Yeah, my
Look, I
favorite
can't
character
help
is
it.
Duel of the Fates. Yes,
It's not
that's
my
right.
fault. Every character in episode 1 is racist.
Just an incredible racial stereotype every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Just insane.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the droids a lot, I guess.
And then they're named like Newt Gunray after Newt Gingrich and Ronald Reagan. I'm like, man, you're cooking, George Lucas.
George Lucas was on one, and I appreciate
He was
all of
on
it.
one.
He was brave in a
Yours is.
way that like 7, 8, 9 was never brave enough to do. It's like,
No,
oh,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, the prequels had ideas.
the prequels had ideas, and hey, it's wound up
maybe-
spawning an obscene amount. Yes, Mike, finish the thought. Too many ideas.
They were bad ideas. They were unfortunate ideas.
Some of the ideas were bad, some were good, and then all of the writing and acting was bad. Yes.
God, Hayden Christensen. I'm glad that he is getting his due, and then he's doing better these days.
Anybody
Hey.
watch that Acolyte trailer?
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I
No.
did.
The poster bothers me. Can I just complain really quickly? The poster
Sure.
bothers me. The lightsaber with the blood smear. Lightsaber burned too hot for that. It instantly cauterizes wounds.
cauterizes
Where's
the
the
wound.
blood coming from?
Yeah.
Where is it
Yeah.
coming from? It's woke now.
Whoa. And with that,
Bailey,
That's
taking
the
the heat
giant
off
bomb.
me. Thank you.
that's been the Giant Bombcast. I've been Danny, he's been Jeff, he's been Mike, and she's been Bailey. And you have been doing some squats, buddy. It's showing off. We'll see you next week for another episode of the Giant Bombcast. Until then, call your friends. Go hug them. Continue to add more whimsy into your life, damn it. If last week you didn't stand on top of a desk and proclaim how much you love candy corn, I suggest you go under a tree and think about the fondest memory you've ever had with candy corn or cotton candy. Cotton candy, what a whimsical food. It disappears as soon as it enters your
Is
mouth.
Jen okay?
No, I'm not. I
Planet
love you.
Are you
Sure.
being paid by big cotton candy right now?
I would 100% be paid by cotton candy because your boy's got debt. We'll see you next week.
You've been having the life.
It's funny, whenever I start yelling like that on the podcast, Scout does not get bothered. When I
Right,
move
just have a
little,
conversation.
when I move a little bit in my seat, she's like, I'm fucking standing with that, Dad. Shut the fuck up.
I am on time.is.
I am also
You
on
know.
time.is.
Oh, I didn't close the window. It's still
oh,
open.
Oh,
I think. Yep, I got it.
We should just have New Jack Swing Week.
Okay.
That's all I'll say
I'm
about
down.
that. I saw All for One in a small concert recently. All for One is the band or the R&B group that goes, I can love you like that.
Oh, right.
Okay, yeah.
Sure.
I saw your Instagram. I was so jealous. I was like, oh, Jen's living the best life right now.
And they did the song from Hunchback of Notre Dame. It was really good.
Oh,
They did the Hunchback of Notre Dame song?
Yeah.
Wait, they did the cover of God Help the Outcast?
No, the song that plays during the credits, Someday or something.
Someday. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Because they reincorporate that into the stage musical version of it, which rules. Someday's great. Right. Okay.
I had the Mickey Mouse disco album where they did a disco remix of that song, which was
Wow.
a choice.
Oh,
Really
shit.
incredible. That was the one that got a lot of repeat in our house.
Oh, damn.
Hunchback.
That and If I
so
Never
good.
Knew You, for the cut song from Pocahontas between
Yes.
Pocahontas and John
And-
Smith.
And cutting that was a travesty.
Mhm.
Coward move.
I like Hunchback because it has a song about how a man's so horny it makes him mad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
it's the best song in the movie.
It's one of the
insane.
best songs I've ever heard because he's
Like
so horny he's
fire.
mad about it.
Hellfire.
I know, I think, all the words to that song. Like,
I do. They
all
are
of them.
Maria.
Yeah.
They know I am a righteous man. Of my
Yeah.
virtue, I am justly proud.
You're going to get us shut down. This is going to be the thing.
Oh, I'm so much wronger than
It was also a good show because like they had a clip. They had like a small. They flashed Ryan Reynolds' face when they would start singing "I Swear" for like a little bit, and it was great. And then like you just saw the dude with that has a really deep voice, and it was great. Time.is.
It's blazing in me out of all control.
I don't even hear it
What's it
anymore.
like? What's it like, Minotti? What's it like?
It's like fire.
Oh, shit.
How fire is fire in my skin.
What else does it feel
This
like?
burning
Mhm.
desire.
What's it making you do?
Is turning me to sin. Dun, 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 dun.
And then would
Okay.
you say it's your fault or okay?
No, it's
cool.
not my fault. I'm not to blame. It is the gypsy girl, the witch.
It's
that
Jimmy
is
Moore's
playing.
fault.
It's not my fault.
We
It's
gotta
been
go,
God's
Mike said a
plan.
slur.
He made
It's the
the
woman's
devil
fault.
so much. Oh, I'm not supposed to say that word anymore. Damn it, Disney!
Gotcha.
God, darn it! This is Bailey's fault.
Yeah, it's the woman's fault. Right, yeah.
What?
Oh, damn it, Disney! Trying to trick me into saying slurs. I'm ready for
Well-
time.is.
I can love you like that. All right, I'm on time.is as well. Let's
Yo.
clap beep respectively at 45 and 50. 4550. Plenty of time.
4 or 5 that long from now? Okay.
It's a long time. I could sing that whole song all over
Okay.
again. You guys want to see my vape pens and my Diet Coke cans? That's cool. Fuck! I have a really good desk.
I got a feeling you didn't clap on time.
No, I didn't. I was too busy
Someone,
exposing my bullshit to everyone.
someone clip that and please send it my way.
Don't forget it ever happened.
Please don't start the quip.
Listen,
Clip,
it's
you know
so
when.
it's important to note one of the vape pens is CBD only and the other one is weed.
All right, good to
Right.
know.
Woke. Should we clap beep again?
Yeah, just one more.
One more.
Right,
Luck.
All
right,
right.
30.
30.
Yeah, 30, 35.
I'm so afraid of this. This thing's about to fall. Fuck.
Bailey is not clapping.
I'm trying.
All right.
Oh,
Oh.
the trying is right at 35, Sean.
Okay.
I hate my desk. I can't get this thing. I don't have two hands anymore. I have to hold
Okay.
my camera so
All
as to
right,
not
all right.
further expose my absolute bullshit.
It's fine. I should have stopped YouTube
Sean's
a while
problem
ago.
now.
All right, I'm stopping YouTube. Goodbye, YouTube. Let's find a place to stream.